Welcome to Three Dudes Podcast. On this episode, we talk about things and stuff
and places
and people and breasts.
Yes,
Large,
pendulous American breasts.
breasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hi, everybody.
You're listening to Three Dudes Podcast.
It's episode 27. Yeah. Woo! Believe it or not. Believe it or not. It's
episode 27.
We're gonna name the title of the cast.
Oh.
My name is Sam.
And my name is Ham.
And you could also call me Dog.
Look at what's happened to this cast. I can't believe it myself.
I have this half-formed joke, so since I don't have it formed, I'm just gonna say I want this episode to be sponsored by Mueller Light. But I don't know where it's going. This episode is brought to you by Mueller Light. Sooner or later, it'll catch up with you.
Yeah.
Or like it's a slow burn, but it'll catch up to you. I don't know how to phrase it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Well, this week, we're fucked.
We are so
We're
fucked.
totally fucked. And Chris, I'm going to have Dave start us off.
The psych out.
I thought it was gonna happen.
Why are we fucked this week?
Honestly, the reason I am fucked this week, and this is gonna be a little like pity platform for like a few weeks.
Isn't that what we always do?
It really is. I am fucked because I'm having dreams that I'm smoking cigarettes.
You're gonna.
I'm having dreams. Today marks
Don't
the
give
second
in.
week. I know. I'm hanging on by this little finger hold. Actually, it's a lot better than it was when I started. But I'm having dreams that I'm smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
And it's happening like every couple of days, and it's fucking me up.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, dude. I went through that for like weeks.
It's weird because in the dream, what happens is something else is going on, and then at some point I go, "Oh my god, I'm smoking. What am I doing? Oh no, what am I doing?" And it's just like I know that it's bad, but I can't stop myself in the dream.
Yeah.
And it feels incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It really is great. You
I
got to carry that through your days. You know what I mean?
You got to carry that through your days. Just remember the dream.
honestly, it's now that I'm 2 weeks in, it's not that bad.
Right. It's not.
My waking hours are fine. I have my e-cig, so I'm getting my nicotine. That's not that big a deal.
Right.
But it's the dreams. It's when I'm asleep and I'm convinced I'm smoking, and then I wake up and go, "Oh."
Yeah. And that's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna get those.
Yeah.
I got them for weeks and weeks after. So
I have heard from people that this happens. And I have heard from a lot of people, and you've even mentioned before as well, like, still sometimes you'll smell a cigarette and just be like, "God damn it."
yeah, oh yeah, and it's gonna happen forever. Like it's an addiction. You're not gonna get rid of it forever. Well, I mean, maybe 30 years from now it'll be better, but like, it's an addiction, so it's still in your brain that you want it. I will tell you this. My cravings used to last for like 10 minutes, and I would get them a couple times a day.
Yeah.
It goes away. I'm down to like once every 2 weeks I'll get a real bad craving for 20 seconds.
That's not bad.
And you can deal with it, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you can rationalize that in your head and get over it, and you know, like the triggers for me, the triggers for me, it's not so much the smell anymore. I still like the smell of cigarettes. I still like the way they smell.
When Ross was here last week smoking cigarettes, I was just going, yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Yeah. And I like it. Like, some people can't be around that. I like the smell of cigarettes, and I can handle it. But it's for me. For me, it's it's like watching a movie or a TV show and somebody will like light up a smoke. That's the thing that gets me the most.
Yeah, we just wrapped up watching Stranger Things on Sunday. We watched the entire second season, and the thing about that show is people
Hopper.
with cigarettes, Hopper smoking cigarettes all the time.
Yeah.
And every time I see him, I'm like, oh my god, he makes it look so delicious and cool. He's got that barrel chest Gaston body smoking a cigarette.
Right.
Remember, kids, Smoking cigarettes is cool.
Yeah.
There's one thing Jim Hopper taught me. It still looks fucking cool.
It does.
Yeah.
It does look cool.
If there's one thing Hopper's taught me, it's that waking up with a whiskey hangover is the coolest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
It's so cool.
But then the other thing is like, well, I don't know. I don't know. I think I just lost my train of thought. I want a cigarette.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I want a cigarette.
Yeah.
And I can't have one. And that's why I'm fucked.
I mean, you can have one, but you shouldn't have one.
No.
It's a good idea to not have one. The amount of money you're going to save,
already started.
The amount of money that I have that I wouldn't have had otherwise is a mind-boggling. I would have no money.
Yeah.
I bought my dad lunch today.
Yeah.
We went to Havana House. I got a cigar. I got the pipe tobacco that I'm smoking today. I wouldn't have been able. I would have had to ration all that down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I had to do the math in the last 2 weeks that I haven't been smoking. I've saved like $100 and something, about $120.
Right, because what? A pack of cigarettes is like what, $6-7?
That's without tax. They're like $6.50 for what I used to smoke.
I'm getting them for like 5.5 on average because I'm smoking Marlboro Edge. But even at that, that's $11 every 2 packs, and I'm smoking 1 to 2 a day.
Right. Yeah, that's
It's ludicrous.
It is. Luda!
Luda! Straight up Luda!
Hello.
Me, I go by the name of Ludacris, right?
So I was spending $7 a pack. I smoked Marlboro Reds. I tried other stuff.
Let's do a little basic math here.
I was smoking 1.5 to 2 packs of cigarettes a day.
So let's factor on, even at the minimum, 1.5 packs.
1.5 packs times, and it was closer to like 7-10. Let's just round it down to 7.
Yeah.
So 1.5 packs every 7 days.
It's already over $10.
Right. 1.5 packs every 7 days. That's $10.
And then
10.5.
Multiply that by 7.
That's $73 a week.
A week?
Times 52 weeks, that's $3,800.
Every year.
Every year.
That's insane.
That's insane.
That's Luda.
Times the... Okay, so that times the 2 years that I've been smoke-free, I saved $7,600.
Wow.
And there you go.
That's insanity.
But here's the...
You know what you've gotten out of that already? A car.
Right, exactly right. A car.
Yeah, you got
a new guitar.
A new guitar.
I mean, like, it's crazy.
It's showing up. The money is showing up.
Yeah.
Right. The problem is, this is why I feel especially fucked, and then I'll wrap it, is all that money I'm saving, I'm not going to save it. I know myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna spend the extra somewhere. There's,
Sure.
My budget abhors a vacuum.
Well, and this is what they told me when I went to do my thing. Was, like, she told me, she's like, you could do 2 things. You could save the money that you're spending and put it down towards something else.
Yeah.
Or if you're like an impulse buyer, and I said, which I am, I said, spend it on stuff you like.
Yeah.
Who cares if you're saving it?
Right, you
have it.
If you spend it either way, it's gonna be on stuff that isn't just stuff that you buy just to burn.
Right. I mean, at the very least, I'm catching up on some bills right now, which feels fucking great, actually.
Yeah.
I had a couple of bills that we're starting to get, like, not like over a month due, but like over 2 months.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, not great. So, like, quitting smoking is like getting a raise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
It's huge.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Anyway, that's why I'm fucked.
I want to say that we're fucked this week because I was browsing not too long ago the Just Neckbeard Things subreddit. Which,
That's always good for a laugh.
Yeah, it is. Except when something pops up that's just horrifying and awful, and you want nothing to do with it at all. Like, for instance, the artist who drew and presented a super sexualized like pinup picture of 11 from Stranger Things to her actress Millie Bobby Brown, getting his picture taken with her and everything.
No, she took a picture willingly with that guy.
See, in the comments, someone made the point that Penn Jillette once said sometimes the best thing to do with these people is to just get it over with.
Yeah.
And not because where refusing would make it worse.
Yeah.
But that's so fucked up.
It's incredibly fucked up.
That's so fucked up.
And I guess we're just fucked because there's so much normalization of pedo shit in this day and age. Yeah. One of them is running for fucking Senate in Alabama.
Yep. And he's ahead. And he's gonna win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be clear here.
Dude fucked a 14-year-old.
He's gonna win. He's gonna win.
And everyone knows he fucked a 14-year-old, and he's gonna win.
Right.
That's insane.
This guy's tamed.
It's insane. This guy's tamed.
It's gross, man. It's gross.
Like if you I don't know, if you like kids, keep that shit to yourself.
Right, yeah. Like, stuff it down. Stuff it way down. Do some man shit. Stuff it down.
Pretend. Yeah.
But that's the thing is, like, we need to know who those people are.
We do need to know who those people are.
We need to know who they are.
Yeah. And when we need to have websites like Family Watchdog where we can see how close they are to us and go, Oh God!
Yeah, you ever every couple of years do you just do
I
that?
just did it.
Just
I just did it recently.
I just want to know who the sex offenders really close to me are. That's all.
Yeah, it's scary.
I think I live too close to a school for them to be here, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, the middle school is right down the road.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure, legally speaking, they can't be in my
neighborhood.
Well,
here's the thing: the distance isn't that far.
Yeah.
And if you see the amount of them that are sprinkled nearby,
like around,
that's
fucking awful.
Circling them, it's fucking terrifying. Yeah, it's terrifying.
That's awful.
Ugh, weird. There's the thing, I don't know, watching like movies or TV. The thing that always just unsettles me and the most is anything rapey and I can't watch.
The worst episode by far of any show I watched in a long time was an episode of The Sopranos.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I can't watch that. Like,
where a certain character is sexually assaulted on screen. It's an all-out rape.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's like, and it's not particularly. It's not.
It's not visually explicit,
but it's graphic.
But it's all of this, the struggle, and
the way that it's presented is so graphic
and people got
and upsetting.
Yeah, and people got so upset about Sansa in Game of Thrones, and that wasn't even on camera.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Oh my god,
it's entirely
all that stuff is so difficult to watch.
Right.
Yeah, it's the worst. I could watch, fucking the bad guy from Commando get impaled with a lead pipe, 1,000 times, and be like, oh, well, whatever. But or the dude getting sliced up into cubes at the beginning of The Cube.
Yeah,
like that's one of my favorite cinematic shots ever. Is when he just starts to fall apart.
Yeah,
it's like you're like, what happened to him? He's just real straight all of a sudden. And then you watch him just kind of slide.
Yeah.
like little lines appear, and then he just slides off his base.
Yeah, no, that stuff always upsets me. It's tremendously upsetting. And And the thing is that I realize that most of the women in my life are comfortable watching that stuff. I don't know if you I don't know.
I don't know if that's necessarily true for me, but then I haven't watched that much of...
Okay, I think about the show...
They really keep that stuff on TV to a relative minimum.
A show like The Handmaid's Tale, right? Which is super rapey.
I have only watched the first episode.
I can't. Like, Trisha watched it, and she was describing it to me, and I'm like, I couldn't watch this. This just sounds super... And she's talking about it like, oh, no, they do this. She's like, oh, it's really fucked up. I like it, though. And I'm like... I couldn't mentally watch this.
Yeah.
Like, it would be something that I would be so upset at that I would have to turn it off. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and I'd noticed that,
That's a really good point, because all the people that have told me I need to watch The Handmaid's Tale have been women.
Right.
All of them.
Right. And I know I can't watch it. So, I think, is that the one thing that I have that's just, my personal thing? Or is it just that women are so desensitized to that shit because they fucking live it all the time?
That's the thing.
Right.
Christy always says this to me, and I'm sure that it's true in varying degrees for varying people in varying places.
Yeah.
But her argument is, for women, it's not if it's going to happen, it's when.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is pretty fucked up.
It's fucked, yeah.
And like I said, I don't know if that applies to everybody everywhere. But just the fact that I never have to be like, that dude's going to fuck me, is like a huge difference in my mental load as I go about the day.
Right.
Everybody, I think every woman I know has experienced some kind of sexual harassment.
Oh, and I think most people have experienced some kind of harassment.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Women, by and large, more than
men. Oh yeah, hands down. And I have several women I know who've like personally been sexually assaulted. You know what I mean? Like it's terrifying. It just skeeves me out more than anything else. You know?
Yeah.
Well, it's like 2017, big fucking reckoning. America is paying attention. All your favorite stars are like, all your favorite people are like abusive assholes, and you're getting to learn it now. It's fucked. It's really awful.
So, point is, don't.
Yeah, the point is,
don't draw pinup pictures of underage girls. It's fucking weird.
Gross.
That's the worst. That might be the worst thing I've heard in a while.
Yeah.
They're like 14 on the show. They're probably about that age in real life.
15, 16, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Gross. It's fucking gross, man.
Also, is there like a ghost in my
No,
house?
that would be the squeaky bar stools.
Okay. I keep hearing like just someone making an uncomfortable noise.
Yeah,
That's the world agreeing with us and cringing along with us.
Well, let's stay in this vein here because the reason that I'm fucked.
All right, why are you fucked?
I'm a member of chess.com.
Yeah,
as I've talked about on the show.
Let's make like a blood clot and stay in this vein.
That's good. But no, I'm a member of chess.com. I play chess every day.
Yeah.
I talked about it on the show. I think it was a recommendation one time. So my profile picture on chess.com is a picture of me and Trisha.
Right.
And it's probably the best picture that we've ever taken together.
I bet I've seen this
You
picture.
have. It's been my profile picture. It's the best picture we ever took together. And in particular, it's a great picture of her.
Yeah.
As it accentuates her eyes and her cheekbones.
So pretty.
She's so pretty.
So pretty.
Oh, so pretty. But I get this, and it's finally like, it's coming to a head.
Okay.
I play on chess.com, and then my profile picture is visible.
Mm-hmm.
I get all these dudes, not just here, but all over the world, who see that picture and just assume that they're playing against a woman.
And then message you as though you're a woman.
Yeah, as though I'm playing.
Whoa.
This is so
major insight.
We're gonna get real fucking heavy here, all right?
Major
this
insight
is like
time.
I'm a guy, right? So I don't have to deal with that shit except secondhand, right? I hear it from people. I see it on the news. You know what I mean? I have personal stories from women I know. But like, it started happening when I first joined, and then it happened more and more, and it happened like this past week, like several times, right? Like several times, like aggressively happening. You know what I mean? Like, and at one point, this guy just wouldn't stop messaging me while I was trying to play chess with him, and I turned off the chat. And this guy went to my profile and left a comment on my profile that was like, "Oh, you dumb bitch," you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, so I'm not fucking kidding, man. Like, it was like mind-boggling to me. So, I don't know. Like, it was this eye-opening thing because I hear women say it all the time, and
you need to start a blog.
I'm just like,
you need to start a blog.
And then as I've had women tell me, like, you just don't understand, and you like to think that you understand, but until it actually fucking happens to you, like, you don't get it. Like, it's like, it's this thing, and it's not every time, but it's enough that it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
a great case in point is I do not get messaged by strangers.
Ever. Right. Ever. Right?
Ever.
But like they think that, like they just see the picture of the pretty girl on there, right?
Are you slightly cropped out by a circle or something?
No, she's more prominent, I think, in the photo than I am. But I think that they're just seeing that.
Yeah, they just like laser eyes on.
Right. And they're just assuming. So I get like all these like weird little flirty smiley face texts and like, so I don't know. It's upsetting. It's really upsetting because I'm not a woman. Right?
But you're getting it.
But I'm getting, like, for the first time I think in my life, I'm really, like, I'm getting it. Like, I'm starting to pick up on the fact that this is not cool.
Wow.
That this is, like, happening all the time. And I'm a dude. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I will say...
Have you tried sending them photos of your dick?
No, I should.
Yeah.
You know, I try. Here's the thing.
Yeah,
whenever
this is a golden opportunity to just fuck with some neckbeards.
I play along sometimes, and I'll pretend to be the woman.
Yeah.
And the best thing to do is beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that just all that makes me want to do is play chess extra hard and hug my girlfriend.
Yeah, like
a little tighter.
you're playing for gender
equality. Exactly. Yeah, and it's just but it's upsetting. It really
that fucking sucks.
It really got to me this week. Like it's just even just talking about it just.
What's also like it's an additional layer worse because you know that they're trying to mac on your girlfriend, man.
Right.
Yeah.
They're trying to mac on your girlfriend.
Right.
They're not gonna take that.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, I noticed her first in that picture too when I'm dating her. Yeah. There's a dude in that picture. That's me in that picture.
They don't even see you.
Right, exactly. They're not even seeing
you.
me.
Could be a potted plant.
Right, exactly. I'm not there. They don't care. You know, like it's just I don't know. It's just upsetting, man. It's just really upsetting. So you fuck those guys, and if you do happen to play me on chess.com.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work, and you do that. I'm gonna work extra hard to kick your fucking ass because you deserve it.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's terrible.
But what about my PUA book and the tactics that are biologically proven to get women hot for me?
That might be one of the most embarrassing uses of one's time and resources.
Yeah.
Is trying to strategically. And very meticulously trick people into being with you.
Yeah. Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's gross and stupid.
Right. Yeah.
It's both.
Just take a fucking shower and have a job.
Shower regularly and show interest in what people are saying to you. And
right.
You're like 50% of the way there.
Yep. That's pretty much it. Women want exactly the same things that men want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
More or less.
More or less.
More or less. Sorry, I know. Started off on a dark note.
Well, it is the why we're fucked segment. It can't all be roses and rainbows, buddy.
Sure.
I
don't know.
We are, after all, fucked.
We are indeed.
Absolutely. But there are bright sides to everything.
Yes.
I guess. And we're gonna come back. We're going to come back and talk about some good things, like what we're schmorping.
Yeah.
And what we're dorping.
Yeah, what we're snoobing and what we're doobing.
Stay tuned, bitches. Welcome back. We are back with a little segment we like to call Schmorpin' and Dorpin'.
Yes, what I'm smithing and what I'm wessing.
Yeah. So, would you like to introduce what we're dorping?
I would like to introduce what we're dorping. So I wanted to pick us up something special today. And I went through the drive-thru. I was looking for Devil's Milk by Duclaw, which is a beer I really like.
Yeah.
They didn't have that, but they had this, a 4-pack of Dragon's Milk Bourbon Barrel-Aged Stout, brewed by New Holland Brewing. And it was a little spency, too. It was like $17 for 4 bottles. So I thought, let's do something a little bit ostentatious, and now that I'm not smoking, I have a little bit of extra money, so I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's do something a little Austin, Texas.
Yeah, something a little bit Austin, Texas. So, anyway, that Dragon's Milk, let's get some, I didn't quite, there you go. Let's get some thoughts on this. Oh, gross! No, just kidding. This is intense.
That's pretty good.
That is good.
It's thick as hell.
It is thick. That's a thick
Yeah.
beer.
That's a
It's
thick
not,
bitch.
It's not as intense as I would have thought.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's
I
very
thought more
sweet.
bourbon flavor.
It's like drinking a bonbon.
It's there. Yeah, it is. It's sweet.
It's something else, I'll say that. They describe it, first of all, it's 11% ABV, and you can taste that. Rich, roasty, and creamy with heavy notes of vanilla and just enough familiar warmth from oak barrels. They recommend you pair it with red meat, smoked foods, balsamic, rich cheese, and dark chocolate. I can see all those because this is really, it's a very thick, dark, roasty tasting. Oh my god.
Well, speaking of smoking, we are smoking with it. So.
Yeah.
Heck of a combo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I like that.
I am schmurping. My staple Perla Del Mar.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't feel like going outside the box this week.
No, man. Gotta stay in the...
I was thinking there's a cigar with a very similar label, very similar color scheme and whatnot to the Perla, called Prize Fighter, and those cigars are like $2.
$2.
Yeah, and I know you said before you can get a good smoke for $2.
You can, yeah.
For real cheap, but
that's what you like. That's
Yeah, I'm just I don't know. I'm still skeptical.
Well, here's the thing: the wrap is going to be shitty. If you get usually, not always.
I think that's
sometimes
pretty
you
true.
can, like, if you go to Smoker Friendly and you can dip in that little bargain bin right off to the front there.
Yeah.
You're gonna
there we go.
you'll find some good stuff in there sometimes. For $3-4. Just because they've been sitting there for a while and they're clearing stock. That happens. And you get some good stuff in there. You get some winners sometimes. A lot of times when you get cheaper cigars, the wrap will come off. You can tell a poorly made cigar because the wrap will start to burn off. It'll start canoeing on you real quick.
Yeah, right. They don't burn.
They don't
quite
burn
evenly.
the same way, right?
Yeah.
So you get some winners sometimes. You just gotta win them and lose them. I've had good berry. I remember when we were in Connecticut this past year for the training that I had at work.
Yeah, right. For the Dasant training.
Yeah, they were. We were sitting at the table with my buddy Tyler, who I don't know if he's listening or not. Hey, Tyler.
What up, buddy?
He was sitting there playing blackjack at the dollar table and winning. He did really well.
Yeah.
But he was sitting there next to these guys from North Boston who were just there on a weekend, being guys, drinking and having a good time, and then sitting at the table, bullshitting with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I went out and got a cigar, and I was standing behind Tyler, watching him at the table, helping him out with betting. I say helping him out. He didn't need my help. He was killing. I mean, he walked away at the dollar table. He was walking
Playing
away.
some cards.
Yeah, he was like up a couple $100 at the dollar table. So so he was kicking some ass. But I got a cigar and I was smoking it, and the guy from Boston was like, "Is that as good as our berry cigars?" It was one of the funniest things anybody ever said to me. But he went to a gas station and got a bag of berry cigars in a tinfoil pouch, and he's like, "You want one here?" They were like $2, and I'm saying, "I was good." It was, you know what I mean? Sure. It's like one of those like the little like Clint Eastwood cigars, and you know what I mean? Those little like shittily wrapped.
It was good. See, and it's because I'm not that familiar with cigars yet, but I always say, you can like a good, $20 steak just as much as you can like a $3 cheeseburger.
Yeah. Yeah, not everything has to be, first of all, the best of the best, or second of all, expensive. You can enjoy average things.
It's a simple pleasure. Like this the scotch I'm drinking, which I guess I should say the other thing that I'm drinking is Lafroy to the scotch from last week when we had Ross on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one well.
I put a little Kubo ice in there too to get it a little chilled.
Yeah. It's so great for sipping.
The other thing I'm drinking actually,
that's right.
I haven't gotten to mention this,
sorry.
is no, that's okay. Is Flying Dog's The Truth Imperial IPA.
That's a good one.
I have not had that.
That's a good one.
I love the label though.
Yeah, it's trippy. It's just this this weird trippy modern art-ish just guy in a suit, and it's called The Truth. Full disclosure, this beer came to fruition because we saw a gap in our portfolio and we wanted to increase our market share.
Well, at least they're honest about how cynical that is.
Very tasty Imperial IPA, 8.7 ABV.
Yeah. Good one, man.
Nice.
It's a good beer.
Yeah, craft
like
beer. But yeah, no, I said I'm drinking the Lafroy here.
That's a great.
I mean, it's liquor, so it's expensive, right? Any bottle of liquor that you get is going to be pricey, but it's not unaffordable. It's like a $45 bottle of scotch, which is like you par for the course for like what you get Johnny Walker Black, Dewar's. I just happen to like this a lot better.
And if you're drinking it appropriately, you're sitting enjoying it, sipping it, getting every last taste out of it. it's well worth what you pay for that.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I figured we'll have it here if anybody wants it. I'll drink it. It's my favorite go-to Scotch.
Oh man, you know what? You've given me an idea, which is really this is a bar, but it's missing a liquor shelf.
Yeah,
I really should be stocking some alcohol here.
Well, I guess we could talk on the show, before we get in. Let me get this out of the way real quick. I'm schmorping. I went to Havana House with my dad, and I already had a cigar earlier. I brought one in case I felt like another one. I think I'm just going to stay with the pipe.
Yeah.
I got their house blend Colombian Mocha, which is the tobacco that I got last time that I couldn't remember the name of. Does not taste like coffee. It's really good. So I'm smoking that. But no, it's we can talk about where you and I think are going to go in on a.
I think it's going to happen.
A beer like 115 count.
beverage
cooler.
Which is a little bit insane.
I'll contribute to that too.
Yeah, it's, I get it real. Not to get too much insight here.
Maybe not till the next time I get paid.
Yeah, that's all right. It's not to get too much insight here into the kind of discount I get, but it's significant on this thing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get this thing for a pretty good price.
I'm willing to go in with you.
Yeah.
It's what market analysts call a big fucking discount.
Yeah, it is. It's a really big discount.
That's also a big fucking amount of beer. That's more beer than is ever in this house at any time.
Well,
that is
a
gross of beers.
Think about it, because we all bring beer here. You know what I mean? And then I'm thinking you put that bastard
bastard
right there.
Yeah, that bastard down right
there, or somewhere.
I actually kind of want to reorganize.
Yeah,
this
we should give it some rearranging. But you put that bastard in there.
That bastard.
And then I can bring a 30-pack over and have it, and then you could get a 30. We can all have beer here ready to go. And
we
then
just
if
keep
anybody
the fridge full, and we always got beer.
Because we all use it. So,
sure.
and then whenever anybody, if I bring a 30-pack over, if anybody is here when I'm not here, they can drink the beer out of the thing. It's like a communal beer thing.
The other thing is the big chest freezer that we have there, which is, it's temperature controlled to stay at around 35 degrees.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's deep. And storing beers in it and drinking beers out of it is a little impractical. And this is something I guess I should probably say out loud on the show, and then I can actually commit to it. I've got about $250 worth of bonus points from work coming to me.
Oh, no way.
And I can finally finance the Keezer. Actually putting kegs and taps into it. Is someone in my house?
I don't know.
Hello?
Hey!
Oh, God.
Cromwell dominant puts.
Anyways, that's going to happen. I'll be right back.
All right.
No, I think it's going to be a cool thing. We'll get the...
I'm glad you mentioned this, because it actually segues pretty nicely to my topic, which now I can't segue into.
It's okay.
Dave's not down here. He also hasn't talked about what else he's dorping and what he's schmorping.
Yeah, he's sucking on that robot dick that he's been sucking on for the past couple weeks. That vape.
Yeah, he's got the vape there.
He's vaping it up. I don't know what flavor he's got. Let me give it a little blasty blast here. This is gonna be terrible. I'm gonna be like Ethan here. Ooh. It's very berry. Very berry. It's good. God, that's horrible on the throat. I don't know how anybody does that. Yeah. Vape Nation, y'all.
Vape Nation.
Yeah, it's like a berry kind of thing. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's really good. And then he's also drinking Miller Lite, it looks like, which is kind of is officially the dude beer.
I think so.
I think at this point, I feel like I've corrupted everybody, because Miller Lite is kind of like my go-to drinkable beer of choice, because it was the first one that I really... That and Carling Black Label, just because it was $1 at Cedars.
Well, oh yeah, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, $1 Black
On
Labels.
Old Man Mondays.
Hell yeah.
But everybody, our friend Drew used to drink a lot of Bud Light.
Why haven't we had Drew on the show yet?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I feel like maybe the middle of the week, maybe she would be too busy with
school and
school doesn't go on all the time. We should get her when the children are.
We should ask her to be on the show.
Yeah,
we should. Yeah, she used to drink. I was talking about how Miller Lite's the official dude beer at this point.
It really is.
But that's I will take some partial responsibility for that because everybody I know eventually just starts drinking Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Because everybody drinks Bud Light in this country.
Yeah, right.
And I don't like Bud Light at all.
I don't like it nearly as much.
Yeah, no, Miller Lite's got a little more of an actual beer taste.
I think it's all in the yeast.
Yeah, it's the yeast. Yeah.
Now, regular old Budweiser is has it's beer.
Sure.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you one thing.
Solid.
The only reason that I don't buy Miller Lite all the time is that at that price point, there are other options that contain 30 beers and not 24 of them.
Yeah, Genesee,
Beast.
Busch,
Rolling Rock is around that price.
Yeah.
For a 30 pack in the cans.
Yeah.
This is the only reason is the bonus, the bonus 6 beers.
Yeah, you get more bang for your buck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I buy them 6 tall boys at a time, so that's
Yeah.
Now we
That's right. I haven't
said you were.
I kind of covered a little bit. Yeah.
Filled them in for me. Yeah, I'm smoking this robot dick now.
Yeah.
It's going well. I bought a couple of coil replacements, so this will keep lasting me.
I took a blasty blast on that. Is
Take a
that,
little blasty
is that berry?
This is a blueberry blend.
Yeah, it's kind of like a berry kind of flavor.
Yeah.
It ain't as good as our berry face.
This isn't good as your berry vape. It's actually all right. I gotta say, for the fact that I'm smoking something that's basically a blueberry, it is an okay cigarette replacement.
Yeah.
That's good.
And of course, as we covered, drinking the dragon's milk
And
and some Miller Lite.
Yeah, the classic.
No coffee tonight.
No coffee. I saw no staple.
Yeah.
No more Marlboro Edge. No more black coffee. How about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have another boring thing.
Because here's the thing. I was thinking, like, at some point, we could cut the Smorpin' and Dorpin' segment.
We could.
Well, I mean,
But then how would they know?
But then how would they know what we're Smorpin' and Dorpin'? Right. Because we're getting close to the year end of the Dudecast, which would come somewhere around episode 40-ish, 40, 45. Because we skipped a couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, it's a weekly podcast. Really, our 50 or 48th episode or so should probably be.
It's going to be closer to like 46, 47.
You think?
Yeah. As of right now, it'd be like 48, and I anticipate maybe one week.
We might end up missing something for the holidays, or who knows what.
Yeah.
So,
I think we asked before, which begs the question: do we continue on the format, listeners? Do we end? Do we have a season? Do we have an arc?
Do we just leave the world alone and stop doing this?
Right. No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
They don't
deserve
want that.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to, but I don't want to stop doing this. I like doing this.
We're going to put it behind a paywall. It's going to cost $50 a month.
Yep.
And there's going to be 2 less episodes.
Taking a page out of the old O'Reilly book.
Yeah. 3 dudes red.
God, that would be the dumbest thing we could possibly do.
I heard old Cromwell up there. Is she stopping by, or is she just...
Yeah, no, yeah, so girlfriend sneak-in port just popped by for a minute. She just had to grab a couple of things because she is house-sitting for our friends, Katie and Mike. So she's watching the cats. There are more cats in the house than I thought. We had a conversation last night where she was going, okay, how many cats do they have? And I'm like, they have 3 cats.
Yeah.
And she goes, there's 4 cats here. And I'm like, no, they can't be. They have 4 cats. I did not know
a troubling
they had 4 cats.
A troubling amount of cats.
A baffling surplus of cats.
A buy in bulk discount of cats.
Yeah, the Costco value pack of cats. More than I thought. So yeah, no, she just popped by. She only had a minute to sneak in and head out.
So
let's get into this, man.
All right. We had been talking a little bit, right, about getting all these nice things for the bar, like a
little
cooler, a kegerizer or whatever.
Kegerator.
Yeah, in this case, a Keezer, since it's a freezer.
Right.
A Keezer Wilhelm, as it were.
Hail Keezer. Which segues nicely into my topic, which is, what are some of the best and what are some of the worst things you have ever bought?
Ooh, I like this. I like it.
It's because we've all got them. We've all got things that, like, we may not use it all the time, but we look over at it and be like, glad I got that.
Yeah.
And then there's some things that we get, and then just
immediately go into a closet somewhere and
right,
never touch him
use it again. Right, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to start by saying Brink.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Does that ring any bells?
I remember that game.
I don't remember that game. I remember the name.
You got sucked into the thing that I almost got sucked into, and then you know what I mean. Like had enough people around me go, no, don't waste your money.
Yeah, I didn't have those people.
Yeah.
An appropriate time to be talking about this as Battlefront 2 is on shelves.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Brink was EA too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Brink was a disaster of a multiplayer shooter that tried to combine like class-based, progression-based multiplayer shootery stuff with parkour. You could like run along walls and jump over shit and free run and shit.
Like Titanfall, but not cool.
Like Mirror's Edge, but
not
cool.
Right.
Yeah, and it sucked.
Yeah,
it was really not good. And I made the mistake of pre-ordering it at full price.
Sorry, we're trying to catch him off.
Damn it! I thought I had it.
It looked like you did.
Maybe I did and it got out.
Anyway,
Sorry, acting like a kitten. Please continue.
Anyway, so yeah, Brink was not one of my better purchases for sure. It was a mess. Connecting to any game was terrible. The mechanics sucked.
Yeah.
No,
Just kind of like buggy and unplayable, or just like frustrating.
Buggy, unplayable, frustrating, and not social enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for an online shooter, there wasn't really a whole lot of options for like squatting up or like voice communication or shit like that. It wasn't very fun. It was very monotonous. In fact,
it's not very good.
It's not very good.
It's not very good.
How much did you buy it new?
I pre-ordered it.
Oh wow!
I pre-ordered it for PC and it sucked.
So like your standard $60 release or something like that.
Yeah, it's still sitting there on my
title kind of thing, or
yeah,
what?
it's still sitting there on my Steam account with like maybe 3 hours
Well,
played.
and the thing is, it went to $40 within a month.
Yeah,
and it went to $20 within a month after that. It failed.
Yeah,
it was a debacle. Like it failed immediately. Kind of the same way that a game like No Man's Sky did, where it was so hyped up.
Oh my god!
Remember the
I'm
hype
so
for that?
glad I didn't buy that game.
I was on the hype train too. That fell under Peter Molyneux syndrome. The creator of Fable, Peter Molyneux.
Yeah, right.
Well known for over promising things and then not being able to deliver. And the thing is, like the game wouldn't be a bad game on its own if it was, say, $25.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It would be a fun little PC thing to go out and explore for a few hours and then, not play for a while and then got back onto it,
Yeah.
So it would have been cool if that was the case, but that wasn't. It was hyped up as a full release title. Yeah. They spent years working on it. They kept over-promising, and then it was just, nothing. And I'm very glad I didn't buy that. By the time that I got a gaming PC capable of handling that, I already had heard the news today. Oh boy.
Yeah. And I have only ever pre-ordered one game since then.
Right.
That was Battlefield 1, and I got quite a lot of play out of that.
Yeah, that was a great game. It
was pretty fun.
Yeah. I never played Battlefield 1.
I would still rebuy that game on PC and play with you guys. It's really good.
It's fairly fun. Yeah. I don't have any of like the DLC or the expansions or whatever they have now, but that's because I'm playing like Siege and
sure.
I'm gonna try and get back into CS:GO as well.
Battlefield 1 in a lot of ways was like not EA's apology, but help me,
DICE.
It was DICE's apology for every other Battlefield game of the past 5 years.
But it was shit when it launched too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was, basically like it's one of these ones that it launches like no one can play it.
Well, and that's purely your publisher. That's all EA. That's all EA rushing the title.
Yeah, they're the ones that are like...
Not the devs. It's all publishing. It's all It's DICE saying, "Hey, are you actually going to have the server capability to handle this?" And EA saying, "Yeah," and then it launching and not having the capable servers.
Yeah,
it's such a shame because DICE do seem like very, very capable.
Yeah, they're going to make great games. Yeah, they make good games. Yeah.
But just launches are disasters after disasters.
You know, and the first Star Wars Battlefront reboot, that they did a couple years back, a competent enough game, and would have been more competent if they had the time to make it the way they wanted to without EA breathing down their neck and pushing for a release. It was great. It was really fun. It just,
If I remember correctly, this business with Battlefront has been bad enough that it has literally wiped $3 billion of value out of EA.
Yeah.
That is how much their stock has dropped, yes.
$3 billion, an amount I actually can't picture.
Yeah.
Wiped out of their company completely by this botched, player-unfriendly launch.
There's been photos all over Reddit of just shelves upon shelves of Battlefront 2 going unpurchased.
Yeah.
Really?
And it makes me so happy.
I saw the alternative, which was an empty shelf, and someone had written on it, and maybe you know something about this, maybe you don't, that at that person's local Best Buy, employees were encouraged to only put a couple on the rack to make it look like it was being bought.
They did not do that to us.
Really?
Our rule of law, especially holiday time, is put it out on the shelves.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that there is a lot sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
There's a lot sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't know what those stores do. I don't lie to people.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask me honestly, how's this game? Terrible.
Yeah.
Don't, you know what I mean? Like, don't waste your money. You know what I mean? Like, I don't I can't lie to somebody.
Right.
I try and treat people, especially with gaming, people because you get old folks and their parents and grandparents who don't know anything.
Yeah, they just want to make their kid or grandkid happy.
Right, and they'll come in and they'll go, "What do you think about this?" I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's wasting your money.
But yeah, at least as far as video games, those are two that come to mind immediately. Recently, I purchased a gaming chair.
Yeah. Oh, did you get one?
You mentioned this. Let's talk about this.
I got a gaming chair.
Does it rumble?
It doesn't.
Does it vibrate your butt?
What? No.
Okay. Well, I'm out.
Can you fuck on it?
And see, I had to really look and make sure because I'm a fairly tall guy. I'm like 6'3".
Yeah.
And so I had to make sure that the back was gonna, come up pretty comfortably, and it does.
Yeah.
It's a full backed. It's got like a pillow for neck support, a pillow for lumbar support. Everything's adjustable.
Yeah.
And it I think for someone like me who spends a lot of time in front of the computer, I think it already has been one of the better purchases I've made recently. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Tell me about that lumbar support.
The lumbar support, there are two pillows that you like strap onto the chair, so they're adjustable in height.
Ooh.
But like it's like, so when you sit back, it's a bit like a car seat. Okay. So like you're not ramrod straight, but you can adjust, of course, how far back the back leans and everything.
Nice.
So like when you're in a reclined position like this with the back kind of straight, there's no give to the chair. The back of your neck is supported by that pillow, and then your lower back is supported by the pillow beneath it.
It sounds comfy as hell.
It is hella comfy. One of the reasons I texted you guys earlier about having a LAN party at my place sometime.
Yeah.
I want you guys to try this chair out because it's really good.
Absolutely.
I'll come over and sit in your chair anytime, bud. But it doesn't vibrate your butt. And I have to admit,
no
I'm a little
butt
disappointed.
No, but I could attach something to it. Like I could take one of Aubrey's cats and just like tape them to the bottom, and their thrashing would.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just like a shaking.
Right.
Violent shaking.
Yeah. The other alternative, I guess, is like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like an off-board motor for a boat.
That'll do it.
But
I remember, to add to these things you bought that you regretted, I want to say Call of Duty World at War. I believe that's the one.
The first one, yeah.
It was the one that had the zombie mode thing.
Dude. Oh, man.
yeah.
I bought it for you probably remember.
Oh, yeah.
I bought it for the Xbox.
So you bought it years after launch.
Years after it was launched.
Yes.
It was now at the point where it was like, probably barely supported at all.
No, yeah, I don't think I think they had dumped support at this point. Well, as evidenced by what happened. Yeah.
Yes, because I was so fucking mad. I hopped on to play some online multiplayer, and the screen was just full of like little chat messages from whoever was hosting. So it's like, oh, they're gonna fuck with everything, and then all of a sudden it would go into like no gravity mode out of nowhere.
Fine. Yeah,
you'd be hovering. People's usernames would be all in rainbow colors and
you
shit.
would spawn and then die, and then spawn and then die, and then right. Yeah.
And it was. I realized like I'd walked into some 14-year-old's nightmare.
Right.
Well, see,
and here's the thing: when that game was on, like initially, that was my favorite Call of Duty game. It's incredible.
See, I've owned World at War on PC for a while. Never played the multiplayer once. I beat the campaign like 3 times though because
campaign's incredible.
I had a lot of fun. I never finished it. I loved the campaign.
The campaign's incredible. Campaign's incredible. Probably the best instance of zombies was the original Call of Duty World at War zombies with
that's what I've heard.
They were up to 4 maps. They were great. Yeah, they were really. I mean, I'm thinking about like freshman year of college, sitting with my buddies, getting stoned, and then playing up to round 60 in zombies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. It was so much fun. So much fun. But yeah, they blew. That's the thing. Those games that get those yearly releases, they lose support. Like as soon as the next one comes out, and it's it's really sad.
Meanwhile, only just days ago, they finally shut down server support for Demon's Souls for the PS3.
Wow.
The precursor to the first Dark Souls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How old would that make it?
Oh, God. It came out in, 2000 and... It was 10 years old-ish.
Yeah, 7, 8. Yeah, it was old.
Demon's Souls is 10 years old, and they only just now ended multiplayer support for it.
That's pretty crazy.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, and then you hear something like, Nintendo... only a year or two ago stopped support for the original Nintendo.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you go like, fuck, they're still
That's
doing
awesome. How cool, though,
I
right?
can send that out somewhere and someone will fix it.
How fucking cool. It's 30 years old.
That's ludicrous.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Loda!
I'm saying that word too much.
I know.
I'm just noticing it. Yeah, the original Nintendo. God, that was probably one of.
Yeah.
We want to talk about best purchases.
Oh yeah.
My parents bought that when I was a kid.
What a great piece of hardware, man.
It's still, you just blow in it and it's fine. You just occasionally you take the cartridge out, you blow in it, and you're back to playing. That's insane.
Your Nintendo just broke and your cart won't play. Boy, what you gonna do? Act a fool. Sorry.
Yeah, no, what a great purchase.
What a great purchase.
I can still put a cartridge in that thing now.
And it still works. Yeah, I have mine. Still works.
That's 30 years.
Yeah.
That's 30 fucking years.
My original, the first game I ever bought with my own money, Pokemon Red, on the Game Boy Color.
Oh, yeah.
My cartridge still works.
Yeah.
I heard that after a while, if the battery dies in it, you have to replace the battery so you can save your game. That's the only thing that's there for is to save your game.
Gotcha.
Because there's a big, watch battery in the cartridges.
Yeah.
And that's purely for the save function.
Sure.
And I've never had to do that. It's replaceable. You can, gently take the cartridge apart and kind of put your own battery in there.
Yeah.
But I've never had to do that. The cartridge still works after all
right.
this time. So many games on there.
That said, if you've been playing the game constantly for the last, 20 years or whatever,
which
you
I
might
still
have a
pick up and play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's great. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Well, I got a bad purchase, but it's bad for a different reason.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
The first credit card purchase I ever made was my golf clubs.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad purchase. I love my golf clubs.
Yeah.
They do exactly what I need them to do, which is
they hit the ball.
Hit the ball
in the direction
I
asked
like
them to.
when I hit them. No, they don't always hit them in the direction I ask them to, but that's not the club's fault. But they feel good, and when I do hit them, and when I do
this,
I can get a hold of those clubs. They're the perfect swing rate. I bought them off the rack at Dick's. They were, like an older model. I have TaylorMades, which is the set I always wanted, and they're like $900 clubs. I got them for $500.
Nice.
I bought the driver along with it, and I got a really good deal on them, just because they were the ones that were the display models.
Yeah.
But that was what kind of started my whole like credit card debt fiasco
that I'm
still involved in, but I'm capable of handling. You know what I mean? Like
me too.
You know, but like that was like the first wake up call because like I went, you know, I couldn't afford them. I charged them, I couldn't afford them.
Yeah,
and it just you know that was the problem.
I think the thing that gets you stuck on a credit card, and it's like a feeling that you recognize every time you buy something with it, is that. Oh, I have a big problem. I got this thing that I want to buy or take care of, or like something I have to pay on, and all of a sudden, someone else got it for me.
Right, yeah, right, exactly.
Man, what a relief and what a rush. And then it's just that over and over again until it's way too late.
Yeah.
My first purchase with a credit card was I had to figure out how to afford a cabin rental for my brother's bachelor party. We were gonna go get a cabin, chill out in the woods. We had a bunch of beer and Bloody Marys and a hot tub and a grill. And
can't beat it. Yeah,
yeah, we had a great drunk time in the woods.
That's what Trisha and I did.
Yeah, it's awesome. But it was like I can't afford this, and I applied for a credit card, and I got it, and I booked the thing. Problem gone away.
Yep.
Didn't even worry about it after that. I went, oh, that's so great. Mm-hmm. And then I did that about 100 more times.
That's a trap. That's the trap, man.
Yeah, of just like every time something came up and it's like I really need this, and then it became, well, I just kind of want this.
Right.
It's terrible. It's such. I mean, that's every worst decision I ever made is probably something I did on a credit.
I realized I was having a problem when I was like charging my. This is why I'm happy I quit smoking because I was charging my cigarettes.
I did that more than once.
Yeah, a couple times. Yeah.
Pay interest on cigarettes.
Addiction. Yeah. Yeah, I had to balance. I did it just recently, but and again, tax return time comes along. This isn't going to be an issue anymore. Thank God.
Right.
But you know, I had to balance transfer my old credit card over to one that they're not going to charge me interest on for over a year.
Yeah.
You know, because I was paying interest on shit that I bought, you know, ages ago. It's crazy.
That actually, is the balance transfer a good idea? Is it a good idea?
It's helping me. I don't know if for your credit, here's the thing. People balance transfer for years.
Yeah.
And then eventually you're going to stop getting those offers.
Yeah,
where they will offer to transfer your balance.
Because it probably tanks your credit score, huh?
It doesn't tank your credit score. It does if you do it over and over again.
Sure.
It won't tank your credit score the first 1, 2, or maybe even 3 times you do it.
Yeah.
But eventually they're not going to let you do that anymore.
Yeah, eventually they start to see what's happening.
Right. And the other thing is
you're never going to pay it.
You have to open another line of credit to transfer. The only credit card I had a Zales credit card when I was in high school for jewelry purchases for ex-girlfriends now.
Yeah.
I had a JCPenney card. I had a JCPenney card because that always came in handy for Christmas shopping because you got like an extra 15% off if you use the Pennies card, and why wouldn't you do that? And I had my Best Buy card, my Visa card, which was a Visa card.
Yeah.
I could use it everywhere, and I get points at Best Buy. But the interest on all those cards, like the Visa card, especially for Best Buy, it's a retail card, so your interest rate is fucking astronomical.
Yeah, right. They're terrible.
So recently, I opened up an actual, like, normal use everywhere card. I got a Discover card because they give you the widest limit, and they offered me the best balance transfer rate.
Yeah.
It was like 14 months, no interest.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, and I just, I'm going to put my Christmas stuff on that card, pay it, and then tax return time comes. I'm expecting enough, at least $2,000, at least.
No shit.
Yeah, I file 0, so I get a lot.
I also file 0, but man, I never see that.
You're in a higher tax.
I think that's what it is.
You're in a higher tax bracket.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized? I don't think my parents ever introduced me to the idea of a credit card until I was well into adulthood.
Yeah. Mine either.
Because so that like all I had was when I got my job at the library in college, my dad helped me open up my first bank account. With through home savings, good old Youngstown home savings.
Yeah.
And I had a debit card, so everything I paid for with that debit card came
Yeah.
right out. It's all my money.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it sucks making $200 every 2 weeks. But what it did teach me is to live within
your means.
what I have.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you know what? Having a credit card was the first time that I started to explicitly live beyond my means.
Right, exactly.
And I'm paying for it now.
I am too. And you know what? And here's the thing: is my dad and I were just having this conversation. I'm an impulse buyer.
Yep.
You know, I will if you just have to sell it to me. As a salesman, that's why I'm frustrated when I go somewhere like Home Depot and I want to buy something and nobody will help you because I'm gonna spend money here.
Yeah.
I just need you to sell it to me.
Yeah, just give me a reason I can justify it to myself.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's all I need you to do.
Yeah.
Just tell me like, I don't know, man. It's not that expensive. You know. All right. Yeah.
The thing is, my impulse buys have totally changed.
Yeah. Right.
Like instead of out of nowhere, I'm gonna buy an Xbox or some shit like that. Now I'm like, I bought Food Saver rolls on Amazon.
Yeah.
I spent $17 on two 50-foot Food Saver rolls.
Yeah.
And all my fun for the next 2 months is going to be sucking stuff up in plastic bags.
Right.
My impulse buys now are either like a $5 microtransaction in a video game.
Yeah.
Or food.
Yeah,
just going to like Dingles and getting like
food's a killer.
Pulled pork and a beer.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
now, I will tell you, I made an impulse buy about a month ago now, and it was another open line credit thing. I opened up a line of credit to get it, but the deal was so good that I felt really good doing it.
Okay.
I got the guitar. I got a Les Paul. Got a real Gibson Les Paul, which I've always wanted.
Yeah.
You know, there's no weight reduction on it. It's the actual fucking holy shit, heavy ass 18, 20 pound Les Paul.
Gorgeous.
You know what I mean? It's beautiful and I love it. It was a 48-month financing on all Gibson purchases.
Yeah.
So I got 48 months to pay this bastard off. The payments are $21 a month.
Honestly, every time you throw down an extra $20 though.
Right.
I mean, if you throw down an extra $20 here and there, I mean, that thing will go away fast.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I'll take care of my other credit card, and then I'll just have this one thing, and But yeah, that was an impulse buy that my credit has been saved by the car payment that I can afford now because I quit smoking.
Yeah.
And and everybody says, well, it takes a long time to build your credit. Like I had shitty credit, and I got a good rate on my loan because I haggled for it. Yeah. And that fixed I pay every 2 weeks instead of every month. I take it right out of my paycheck. Yeah. Like the day that it gets paid, it goes I think my car payment's $180 a month. I pay $100 every 2 weeks.
Now let me ask you this though. What I have heard that checking your credit score hurts your credit score?
Yes, except for 2 times a year. And you have to know which bank or which thing to go through to do it, and I don't know how.
Fuck.
One nice thing about having
I'm curious. I'm really curious about what mine is.
One nice thing about having a Discover card, I will say this, even though it got me in a bunch of trouble, every single month
they tell you
your credit score.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
It's actually a humongous benefit of the thing if you can not be irresponsible.
I love my Discover
card. And I've actually watched my credit score drop, and I've watched it come up. Mm-hmm. I've actually seen the way that I'm behaving having an impact on my credit score.
Mine was 629 when I went to get the car loan, which is
that's pretty decent credit.
Which is okay. It's just okay.
For most people, it's pretty good.
I will tell you, it was significantly worse than that, and then I got my student loan straightened out.
Have you guys noticed that in the 4 years-ish since we finished college, and those 4 years we've been spending more and more time together, our lives have steadily been kind of on the upturn.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Let's talk about the fact that
generally our our quality of life is improving. You two have stopped smoking.
Yeah, we both stopped smoking.
I've been drinking less.
I got a house during that time period.
You got a house. I got an apartment with my girlfriend.
I bought a new car.
Got a new car
that I can afford.
It's almost as if the thing is true, which is the longer you live, the better. The more you pay things down or manage things or get in better habits or whatever, you actually do slightly better.
But I think the fact that we're hanging out must play some.
Oh yeah, sure.
We're definitely positive influences. Let's see, how many beers do we have?
Right. Glug, fucking glug. I'm thinking about. Well, we were talking about City in Color last week when Ross was here.
Yeah.
And there's a line in a City in Color song that I'm thinking of that just it speaks to me because it's something that I've experienced in my life. It's a song called The Grand Optimist.
Okay.
And it's a song about being a sad pessimist and being depressed in a world that seems to be
Yeah.
Expressly optimistic. And there's a line, it's like the second verse starts with, then there's my father. He's always looking on the bright side, saying things like, son, life just ain't that hard. And that's been my dad's philosophy his whole life.
Yeah.
And I talked to Trisha's dad about it too, and he said, look, man, he's like, I filed for bankruptcy before.
Yeah.
You know, life sucks. Life is hard. It has a real funny way of working itself out.
Yeah.
It seems to.
It really does.
As long as you don't kill anyone or accidentally kill yourself somehow.
If you can stay the course and make only
Stay the
same mistakes that everybody makes.
Yeah.
Life is going to be okay.
Sure.
It'll peter. The sadness will peter out and everything's going to be fine.
I used to overdraft my bank account in college a lot.
Sure.
Who doesn't do that?
Yeah, right.
Hell, I've done it not that long ago. I mean, I've been where it's like almost payday, and then an extra thing comes out, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I have negative $40 for a day now.
Yeah, or like it's like the Wednesday before payday, and you're like, okay, well, I've got $8.72. I can afford a bagel tomorrow.
You're right. Yeah. So I'm gonna drink.
I think I've got like some old Werther's Originals.
Yeah, right.
Like under the bed.
Got this ancient tub of Minute Maid mix.
Right. If I drink enough water, I won't need to eat.
Sure. Yeah. I will say this, like, I long for the days when I was in college. I had 3 bills: cigarettes, beer, and my cell phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was all. That was everything I had to worry about.
And the occasional tank of gas.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was it. I mean, that was the whole thing.
My bills in college were phone, gas, and World of Warcraft.
Right. It's like, think about how easy that was.
Yeah.
And I think like, oh man, I wish I could still go out and drink.
Yeah.
All the well, I didn't have anything else to pay for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, that's all I used.
Yeah.
I used to drink every night. I used to be at the bar every night, and I used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and I could afford to do that comfortably on $9,000 a year because
Yeah, because there wasn't anything else.
Yeah, half of it went to smokes. About $2,000 went to gas.
Yeah.
What the fuck else do you want?
Right.
I mean,
I want to talk about one of the worst cars I ever bought.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I've ever told you guys about this car. It was my favorite car, and it still might be my favorite. And it was a piece of shit.
Are you talking about the Neon?
Nope. I am talking about the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
Oh, the old
Cutlass
car.
Supreme!
The old car.
It was my first car. I got it when I was just about 17.
That was my granddad's car.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
Cars. That was Alex's
Cutlass
first car.
Supreme.
It was in '88.
Mine was around there. I think it might have actually been into the late 80s, early 90s.
That was a sick car, man. Those cars are sweet.
Classy as hell.
The old Cutlass Supreme, it was a 2-door. I got it when I was 17 years old, and I bought it with cash I saved up working on a company's website when I was in high school.
Wow.
Nice.
I used to work on the website of this travel agency, Burger Travel Service. They're in Youngstown. I think they're still in business. Burger. She used to say on the phone, like the sandwich. She hired me to do web stuff, and I worked for her for like a summer, and then another summer after that, I saved money up, and I bought, with cash, an Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme from this shitty little car lot, which was next to where Speedway is here in Austin Town, over by Big Lots and all that.
Yeah.
There's a shitty little car lot over there.
I know the one.
I don't know if they're still run by the same guys, but these dudes were slippery. These dudes were slippery as hell. I bought it off of them for cash, drove it off the lot, whatever, and it was my first car, and I loved it. It was a boat. It was big.
Those cars, man, those are great cars.
Yeah, it had a 6-cylinder engine, and it really kind of roared.
They have the chrome trim all over too. Like,
Yes, well, I don't know if it had chrome trim so much. I guess the details are getting fuzzy.
imitation chrome, at least.
I loved it. It was. I had it for I think about 1.5 or 2 years, maybe a little longer.
Yeah.
When I got it, it was super high mileage, but I remember. Not that long after getting it, a bubble appeared on the side of the tire. Like a big bubble that was just threatening to pop, and the tire constantly lost pressure, and I was always going into a service, thing at a gas station to fill up the tires because they were constantly leaking. Like I said, it was loud as hell, and I discovered that the muffler was like rusted open.
Oh yeah, right, yeah, and it roars. It happened to Alex too. Yeah,
I remember I bought muffler tape.
Yeah,
lots of it, and ended up just wrapping the muffler.
Yeah.
To try and conceal the sound, which didn't really help that much.
Sure.
But that, of course, with a giant hole in the muffler, contributed to like instability in the engine and all that.
Yeah,
it was like a pressure differential and all that, and that wasn't great. And I remember the last thing, what finally convinced me that this was going to be a big problem with this car, and I'd had it for like a year, is I was standing at the gas pump one day filling up my car, and I'm just kind of sitting there not thinking. And then I'm like, it smells like gas. And I look, and there's gas leaking out on the floor, the concrete of the gas station, just a pool spreading out. So I stop the pump, I put it back in the hook, and I lay down, and it's just gushing out of my tank.
Yeah.
Because the seal around the gas tank had eroded away. And on closer inspection, they had stuffed a piece of chewing gum in it. I'm not kidding you. This was my discovery, is looking at the seam, there was just gum stuffed in a hole in the gas tank. And this had been there for over a year. I'd had the thing for a long time.
Boy, that was the last time I picked Bazooka Joe as my mechanic.
Oh, man. Where did you say you bought this from?
I bought this, like I said, it was the car lot right next to where Katie's Corner no longer is.
Okay.
Yeah. And, the guys were not there anymore at the time, and honestly, I think car lots come and go over there.
Especially those. That's where I bought the Honda from. Was a little fly-by-night place.
So I remember I went and I had the gas tank replaced. And that
Used
was
car
expensive.
lot salesmen are they're like fungi. They come and go with the seasons.
Sure. I should have known what I paid $2,000 for that car.
Yeah.
I kind of got a value out of it considering.
Yeah.
But when you're in high school, you need that car.
You need the car. Yeah.
You need that car to last.
Car, man.
I didn't get my license until I was 19, so like I lived that life of just needing to ride everywhere. And,
I eventually got rid of it when the final thing was that I went to start it one day and leave my driveway, and the engine just kind of idled a minute and then started revving on its own. And I cut the engine. I went, what the hell's happening? And I did it again, and the engine was just revving up out of control.
My Honda did that for a while.
And I eventually made the decision to scrap the thing, and it was the saddest.
It sucks.
I still miss that car.
Isn't that strange though? Like you say, it's your favorite. It's a total piece of shit from the sounds of it.
It was a total piece of shit death trap.
Yeah.
With a hole in the gas tank, and me flicking cigarettes out the window.
Right, right.
And I loved it. I had some of the best times in that car.
Dude.
Drove girls around in that car.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. Well,
trying to impress girls.
The Honda,
shitty little Oldsmobile.
The Honda, my mom and my aunt helped me pay for was the Civic, the I02 Civic, which, get it out in the open. It's still around.
Yeah,
the car still exists. It was $8,000 because it was a Honda.
Right.
We paid. It was $8,000 flat out the door. Tax, title, everything. And it had 116,000 miles on it, or 106,000 miles on it.
Wow.
It is 202,000 miles right now. Yeah. And it is now my girlfriend's car. So when I bought my car, which I call Nancy Reagan, because it's got the red, it's red, it's the same color as the pantsuit she had when she wore the Just Say No speech.
I didn't realize you call that car Nancy Reagan.
Yeah, Nancy. Oh, Nance. Yeah, because it's the Just Say No color.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, when I bought that car, like, I'm happy because I still get to drive the Honda. I gave it to Trisha. Yeah. But like,
that thing will drive forever.
It was sad. We scrubbed it out. We cleaned it for the first time ever. Like, you scrub the carpets, and it was sad. Like, when we drove it up to take it to her mechanic to get everything fixed, I'm like, this is like the last time that it's gonna be mine. You know what I mean? Like, when we transferred the title, I was like sad.
Remember Han Solo's line in Return of the Jedi? I just got this funny feeling. Yeah. Like I'm never gonna see her again.
Yeah. Right, exactly. No, I love that car.
Yes.
I have so many memories in that car. I drove that car for 6 years. I love that fucking car. Yeah. And it wasn't a junker, but it was an old car when I bought it.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I wrecked the fucking thing. I ripped the undercarriage out.
You can.
Yep. I'm good.
What just happened? You get tobacco in your mouth?
Got some backy in my.
Tobacco.
I got some backy in my craw.
And I wrecked that car. Somebody ran me off the road. I ripped the underside off of it. I bent the engine frame on it, which by all accounts should have totaled it.
Yeah. But after all, it is a Honda.
Right, yeah. The damn thing's still going. I told her when I gave it to her, I said, you can drive that car pretty much as long as you want. Yeah. It's everything that needs to be fixed on it has been fixed, and she's replacing whatever else needs done on it now. So whatever, like, the car's, for all intents and purposes, it's in as good of a shape as it was when we bought it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because everything's been replaced on it. It's got 202,000 miles on it.
202,000
It's insane.
Oh my god.
It's crazy. And it's got another 100,000. It's got another 100,000. I'm convinced.
Probably.
It's a great car. It's a great car.
Now,
and it's tan.
Now the Vibe I'm driving is the first car I've ever owned. So I can't I don't have like the nostalgia thing going for me yet. But what I do have nostalgia wise is my first personal computer that I could call my own. It was one of the old black Dell Dimension desktops.
Yeah, those were great computers.
With a CRT monitor.
Yep.
It had the little like shield-shaped front panel that you could flip up, and there were USB ports on the underside.
Yeah.
That computer, in retrospect, was of course not very good.
No Dells were.
No.
But they were. That was a great look.
And my very next one was a later model Dell Dimension.
Yeah.
That also it ended up getting fried by lightning. And I tried desperately to
my favorite Metallica album.
It ended up getting to a point where this second computer, I had to remove the cover, remove the battery, and replace the battery in the motherboard every time I wanted to start it up because that was how bad it got fried.
No shit.
And so eventually I got that black computer that I had, and then the computer I have now is the one that we built.
Yeah.
But my very first one was one of those black Dell Dimension desktops. Windows XP, of course, the best Windows version.
The best Windows, yep.
I
think we can all agree.
I think we can all agree. And the reason I wanted a PC was for two reasons.
Yeah.
I wanted to play Dark Age of Camelot.
Okay.
I
don't remember that game.
It's an old MMO.
Wow.
You're like three realms. You could be Midgard is all Viking mythology, Hibernia is all Celtic mythology, and then Albion was all knights of the Round Table, and like you could actually go and see the Round Table and go to Camelot and shit. It was really fucking cool.
I keep almost killing this bug. It's driving me fucking insane.
But the first.
Do we get it?
No, it's still there.
God!
Fuck went right in your eye,
asshole!
Oh my god! I watched it happen. Oh my god!
Dickhead. Anyway,
I think you killed it because you smashed it out of your eye.
the dog wants to join the hunt.
Hey, dogger. Hey, doggo.
But anyway, so
sorry.
So
Dark Age of Camelot.
Yeah, so like my first the first computers that I used were Macs. Like everything at Canfield was a Mac.
Mm-hmm. Same with Austintown schools early on.
Yeah.
They were all Macs.
My mom still to this day she has an iBook or an MacBook, whatever it's called.
An i something,
yeah. We had at first a Mac clone that was like made with proprietary hardware, and then it just had OS 8 on it.
Yeah.
And then she eventually upgraded to one of the original iMacs with
the colored ones. Yeah. Oh my god, my aunt still has the blueberry one.
I had a poster for that in my bedroom growing up. I had a poster for one of those.
Those were
so fucking cool.
They were cool.
Those were all over Canfield High School's library. I learned HTML on one of those fucking things.
Yeah, those computers are fucking cool, man.
Well, that and ClarisWorks.
Right.
ClarisWorks.
ClarisWorks was Apple's proprietary
their Office suite
website builder.
Oh, okay.
It was a website building program, so you didn't have to fuck with HTML so much.
Their WYSIWYG editor or whatever.
Yeah. But I was so hyped when I got it because the one reason was Dark Age of Camelot. The other was I really wanted to play Quake 3 Arena.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which you couldn't do on a Mac.
No, you could play Marathon on a Mac.
You could play Marathon on a Mac, and it was only when I got older I was like, oh shit, Marathon was really good.
Yeah, Marathon, Mac Warrior.
Yeah.
Remember Mech Warrior?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
When I think of evolutions in multiplayer gaming, I think like the original Mario Brothers, then I think Super Mario Kart, then I think GoldenEye, and then I think Quake 3 Arena.
See, you're skipping Doom entirely.
Yeah, I say you're missing Doom.
You're skipping like Wolfenstein.
I never played it as a multiplayer game.
I still have the original Escape from Castle Wolfenstein.
Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Or Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
It's on Steam, man.
Yeah,
it's on Steam. Get it,
dude. That game, man. That fucking game. And I got the original Doom on a floppy disk. So, yeah.
But anyway, I soon learned that of course, Windows was far superior for gaming. I wanted to say too, Marathon's open source now. So
dude,
wow.
It's been open source for years and years and years.
That's very early Halo.
Yeah.
For those of you at home.
Yeah, that was Bungie. Bungie's first breakaway hit was the Marathon trilogy. But yeah, so I quickly learned that Windows was where it was at for gaming, and so I still remember like one of the first PC games I really truly got addicted to was Age of Empires 2.
Yeah.
And again that old Dell Dimension, I remember this was back in the days of when you could there were websites for themes.
Yeah.
Like Windows XP themes where it had like custom, log in, log off sounds, a cursor, everything. Mine was Star Wars. My brother's was 9/11 themed. and I shit you not. It would play whenever you logged off of his account. This is the best part. Whenever you logged off of the account, like the wallpaper was, like the American flag superimposed over the Twin Towers. There was an eagle in the corner. And the cursor was like a waving American flag.
Yeah.
But whenever you logged off of the account, it would play the entirety of Lee Greenwood's "God Bless the USA." I'm sure if I mentioned that to him now, he would just cringe his guts out.
Sure would.
But like,
was he not doing this ironically?
No, he was not doing it. We were young at the time, man. He was like, he was 11 at the time.
Yeah. Shit at that time, yeah. Especially like there were a lot of very young, patriotic kids who had no understanding of what they were doing, but they knew what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, he was be an American. When 9/11 happened, I was 13 and my brother was 11.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was completely unironic. It was oh my god.
I would throw a phase like that.
Because I had to wait like a full 2 fucking minutes to change the account because fucking Lee Greenwood would play every time.
So it's saying like signing off and you having to wait to listen.
It's just the Windows XP sign off screen.
Stand up next
To you when defending us still today.
Because there
Ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Yeah, it was a solid 2 to 3 minutes of just that.
I remember David Cross did a bit about that song because it was like that song got popular years before, right? It was like used during I can't remember during the Gulf War or something.
Desert Storm, yeah.
Desert Storm, yeah. So the thing is, then 9/11 comes around and that song is popular again, and this guy's out playing it for crowds again, and David Cross's comment was, "Well, here's your second shot, asshole," because the line is, "I'd stand up next to you and defend her today." And you just go, "Here's your second shot. Get on a plane."
I remember an urban legend that said Lee Greenwood dodged the draft in Vietnam, but I don't know what truth there is to that.
Yeah, right. I remember my first computer was a. Do you remember E-machines?
Oh God, vaguely.
You mean that thing that Scientologists use to read your body thetans?
No, Ben. It was those cheap desktop computers with the little cursive E, and they were pretty cheap.
Yeah.
The E-machines computer. I bought.
Didn't YSU have some of those for a while?
They may well have. I don't remember. I bought it for a couple $100 when I was in high school, and. Of course, by the time I needed a new one, I had like Star Dock window blinds on it and running all kinds of stupid, insane themes, and it just bogged it down, and it was useless.
Yeah.
I kid you not. What I replaced it with, it was years and years later, maybe 2008. They had a computer recycling drive at GM, and I picked an E-machines out of the box and took it home. So I replaced it with another E-Machines. Yeah.
Did you get a dot matrix printer out of the deal too?
Nah, man. I seriously, I replaced it with someone's recycled computer. Which did not have their hard drive in it. I didn't have anyone's private information.
Yeah. But I did see some boobies.
Sure.
They
left the wallpaper. It's just boobs.
Just boobs, yeah. I replaced I put all the parts for my old E-Machines that I needed to into the new E-Machines and went with that for like another couple of years.
Yeah.
Best purchase I ever made. It cost me $0.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Can't beat that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at, I think...
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about this.
Oh, come on.
Because I want to say it's not a great purchase, because it's not.
You love that thing.
But it's a great... I'm looking at it's my guitar. The first guitar I bought with my own money.
Yeah.
That was, you know what I mean, that was like something that I paid for personally. I bought the Strat because I like David Gilmour, and David Gilmour has a white serial number 000001 Fender Stratocaster.
Yeah.
Off the line from the Fender factory.
Yeah.
That they gave to him because he's David Gilmour, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, he's got an old school, fresh print American standard Strat.
Yeah.
And I bought this one. This is not as good of a guitar as David Gilmour.
Gee Willikers.
This is a Mexi. It's a Fender Mexi.
Yeah.
And it's just fine.
It's all right.
It's all right. It's just fine.
I really like it.
It's a good.
It's
a good
okie dokie.
It's a good little noodling guitar. It was $500.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's as good as $500 can be. It plays well. It's just knowing what I know now, it probably wouldn't have been my first choice. But
speaking of music related things, I'm sure you guys remember my brief stint as a DJ, a live DJ.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. When was this?
During college, like
I do. I hired you.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
What this was for?
I used to play dance music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what was the event? Was I there?
There were a couple events that I played.
You did several.
Oh my god, I barely remember now.
I did several. I did one. I did one at some. Oh god, the one I'm thinking of.
Did one at Cedars, I remember.
I did one at Cedars. I did with Jay Mills. Yeah, that was with Jay. I did another one with Jay that was at the Lemon Grove, and like Corey and
I think I might remember that.
A bunch of other people turned out for it, and it turned out really good.
Yeah.
But there was one where like I was so angry about it that like all I did was drink myself stupid, and because what had happened was I was using a laptop that didn't have what was the problem? The problem was there was only one audio out.
Yeah.
So I could monitor with headphones, or I could output my mix.
Yeah.
I couldn't do both. So I got around this by ordering a part off of Amazon, which was a USB audio splitter.
Yeah.
A USB thing that plugs in, and it's got one port for microphone, one port for headphones.
Yeah.
The problem is those weren't labeled. So I have an hour set at this venue.
Yeah.
And I'm half an hour into it, and I can't get the fucking sound to work. And I realize it's because my audio out is plugged into the fucking microphone jack. So I had to condense this set down into a half hour, and because of this cheap, I should mention it was Chinese.
Yeah.
It's
like a knockoff part.
Yeah,
cheap.
this cheap Chinese shit that they sell on Amazon.
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned before how Amazon lets this bootleg foreign bullshit on their site.
Right, sure.
And it was definitely it soured me on trying to DJ for a while. And then 2D6 had an event where one of their acts dropped, and they wanted a DJ to fill that they would divide the time slot between the remaining sets, and so I did that, and it worked. That worked out really, really well.
Yeah.
That was at UPI, actually.
Yeah, UPI. I think I remember that, actually.
Yeah.
Speaking of cheap Amazon shit, I saw the other day a ring-mounted mouse
What?
It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It looks like it goes on your ring finger, and you like point, or I guess your pointer finger, and you point around, and it acts like a mouse, right? Which is weird, but I could see it functioning.
It's a little interesting, I guess.
But the labeling of it referred to it as the one ring to rule them all.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you.
But it looked like that was the name. Like it was written in as the product name on the label of the box.
They're taking the hobbits to Amazon.
I thought that was so weird. And that's how you always immediately recognize this cheap Chinese knockoff shit.
Yeah.
Is that it's got like legally indefensible labeling.
Well, you know what really sucks is when you're looking at it and it's like, oh, okay, this is like 4 stars and you know it looks like it functions, and then you get it and the instructions are like, thank you much for to purchase Happy Time keyboard component.
Yeah. It's like you've already lost me. You've already lost me.
And which is why I was really kind of happy when I got that pipe for you for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was reading the description on the side, and I was like, you know, there's no way to fuck up a pipe really.
Right.
So I was just having fun with just the horrible broken English.
Yeah. Oh man, I'll never forget my favorite of all these bad English translations is the one for that Batman toy. It's like saying like, you know, things like
God had never given him a chance for revenge or something.
Yeah, God never gave him a chance for revenge.
Yeah. Dr. Jackstraw, the abnormal drug trafficker.
And my favorite part, in which they refer to him explicitly as Spider-Man.
Yeah, he became a new hero, Spider-Man.
And it's like, this is definitely Batman.
What was Dr. Jack? I gotta write that down.
Dr. Jackstraw, the abnormal drug trafficker.
Why can't he be more normal like those other drug traffickers?
Wow.
I
just want to remember that phrase.
Yeah.
The abnormal drug trafficker.
Tugon, chief of mafia. It was like they didn't bother to translate it in English. It was like Tougon, Togon, chief of mafia.
Chief of mafia.
Yeah, I don't know who the hell that could be. Black Mask or it could be anyone. There's so many fucking mafiosi in Batman.
Yeah. Man. I've had a lot of luck with purchases for the most part.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't think I have anything that I super regret.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The trick really, like, the most buyer's remorse I've ever experienced is with video games, and the most buyer's delight.
Yeah, sure.
And the trick is, don't pre-order shit. Wait until it releases. Look at other people playing the game, and be like, okay,
make your decision.
Yeah, this looks like something I would want to play. That's what I did with Siege, and it's still like my most played game in the past year or so.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, thinking about purchases that could go either way, you know.
Yeah.
The microphone that we're recording this on is
the thing you're hearing us on right now.
Yeah.
It's a damn fine mic. It's not like epic quality or anything.
No. But it's working. This was actually I gotta give it up to Bo, who I worked with for pretty much the entirety of my career now.
Yeah.
It was the one who told me to go because I couldn't decide on which microphone I wanted to get to do the YouTube show with, and he's like, dude, get a Yeti. He's like
everyone uses them.
There's going to be three of you doing it. It's going to be for the least money, the best quality you're going to get without getting a mixer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And having to go through that noise. For the most part, except for a couple like learning curves and stumbles that we had, it suited us pretty well.
I think so.
It's done exactly what it's needed to do. It's not great. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about better audio, which we need to talk about now.
Yeah, actually, come to think of it, the Audio-Technica sale is on Friday.
Oh, no shit.
Ooh. This upcoming Friday.
So maybe we should...
We need to discuss it because we have talked about, you know, we've been doing this long enough. We're taking it seriously enough. We should probably all have a microphone.
Yeah.
And, you know, eat the mic like a professional, you know,
right.
You know, instead of
get the full range of the human voice.
Yeah, right. We should be doing a little better. So, Friday, I would like to go up there. I mean, I go to Akron that day anyway.
Yeah.
Go before work.
I'll give you my credit card.
You know,
Can't do that.
Charge it up. Yeah, you can.
No, after our conversation about credit cards, I really can't
charge
do
it
that.
up.
Woo!
Charge it up.
Friday's a no-go for me, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
I
Well,
will,
it would be early in the morning anyway.
I'll give you the dosh to get me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about
We'll
it.
talk about it, I think, post-recording. But I think
Yeah.
we're finally going to hit that era in the Dude Cast where
I think it's time.
we should use this We should not get rid of this microphone.
No. Well, first of all,
It's a good mic.
if we have guests, if we have four, well, I don't know. We should talk logistics later, but we
Yeah.
should probably have 4 microphones and a mixer.
Yeah, I agree.
I've been interested. I've told you guys in Twitch streaming, and I would definitely like to use this microphone.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's especially good for one person.
Everything that
Yeah.
we made 2 big purchases, right? I bought the action software, and then we all chipped in for this microphone. So I mean, it's like it's ours. You know what I mean? So whenever you need it, it's a great mic.
I found it.
It's a great mic.
Yeah.
And then I have something that I'm going to be working on next year. Without giving too much away.
Is this something we've talked about already?
Is this something you texted us about?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I have something that I'm just starting to put into motion now. That I'm going to be working on next year. That you'll probably hear more a little bit about in the coming months.
Yeah.
I mean, I might need this microphone at some point.
Got a lot of irons in the fire.
Yep.
Got a lot of
fingers and a lot of pies.
I'm really excited.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs, what have you.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of bad purchases. This for what we do, it's. I will say that this microphone is insufficient at this point, at this stage in our recording.
We've taken this as far as this microphone could.
And I love this microphone.
Yeah,
I do too.
But I think
I love the googly eyes on it.
I do too. Yeah, a little googly-eyed microphone. It's a great mic. And it's done
for sure.
How many recording sessions has this microphone gone through?
I know
that you guys have heard or not heard.
What unspeakable things have been done in front of this microphone?
Right. Yeah, it's been good. We've had this mic for 3 years, 2-3 years now.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
There's our entire YouTube show, the duration of that, and then every episode of this podcast,
right?
Except for episode 2,
right? Except for episode 2, and the Goose Chase podcast for that matter,
podcast
as recorded on the Yeti.
Yeah.
It was an okay purchase that ended up being pretty good. For me.
It served us well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna miss him and his googly eyes.
Y'all like that? You like those little audio peaks I just did there?
Yeah. For those of you that can still hear, and are not deafened by that.
I just tapped the top like
you booped its snoot.
I booped its snoot. I tousled its hair like I'm Tom Hanks.
Now what? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, I think it's probably about time. We're at
about that time.
It's 1:35. Yeah, it's 1:35.
We got a little bit more time.
A little more time. Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say is the absolute worst purchase you ever made?
Oh God, worst purchase.
Wow, that's hard to say.
I once bought a $50 candy bar.
Excuse me?
It's one of the big ones. It's one of the big ones that you like. I ordered it from Hershey Park. I think we talked about it at some point on the show. I ordered a giant candy bar from Hershey, PA, that you normally have to.
We might have talked about it when I was talking about my email.
I think
Hershey.
so. Yeah, I ordered one. And then, of course, couldn't finish it because how could you?
Yeah, right.
It's that thing that chocolate does when it's been out for a little bit where it's still okay to eat, but it gets the little white, sugary, you know what I mean, chemical.
Right, yeah.
So it just got old and unappetizing. And the candy bar is great for the first sixth of it.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes too much.
Yeah.
So maybe not my best purchase. And I didn't have anybody to eat it with at the time. It was just me. It was me and my diabetes and So probably a good waste of $50. Not a great choice.
I think among the things the worst purchases I ever made, and it wasn't an expensive one, but it has proved to be the most useless one. It is
the dog.
No, yeah, the dog. No. The dog is quite useless. However, he was given to me.
Yeah.
It was a singular packet of pasta sides.
Yeah.
It's one of those
pasta sides.
Pasta sides. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like a packet of noodles. It's a side dish by like Nor.
Nor pasta sides.
Nor pasta sides.
I don't. So they're like little packets meant to be made as a side dish.
Yes, it's a paper pouch of noodles and powder that becomes sauce. It has been in my cupboard for probably 6 years.
Holy shit.
It is fettuccine Alfredo, and I'm never gonna fucking eat it.
Why?
Never. Because it looks gross.
I know, but Nor pasta sides are delicious. Dude.
It looked gross, and it continues to look gross, and I still don't know why I bought it.
Alfredo is my favorite kind of pasta.
This isn't Alfredo. This is a powder that attempts to replicate Alfredo.
Well, now you can't eat it.
I can't eat it.
I mean, you can, but I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. Disgusting to think about. How many powdered cheese products ever end well?
Kraft mac and cheese.
No.
No? Well, that's because you're not using enough butter, probably.
No.
Or enough ketchup.
No, I'm telling you, when it
enough
comes
sriracha.
When it comes to boxed pasta, it's Velveeta shells and cheese or nothing, man. I gotta have the sauce in a packet. Anything powdered.
Mix it up with the white viscous water.
I'm not having
thicker now because of the pasta powder that's in the bottom. Whip up,
No, that's the worst purchase I ever made, because even as I was buying it, I was going, I bet I don't really want to eat this. And it's been there for...
It's been
there forever. It's disgusting. I look at it occasionally and go, no one's ever going to fucking eat this thing. Yeah, that might be the worst. Like $1. The worst dollar I ever spent.
I've been turning this over and over in my mind. I've narrowed it down to 2. They weren't the most expensive purchases, but they were the worst. And I'm trying to think of which one's the worst. And I think I've decided. My runner-up is the time I bought a ticket to actually go see in theaters Stomp the Yard, and I think I've told that story on here. But I think the worst purchase I ever made, or perhaps the least wise purchase I've ever made, the unwisest purchase, was the first time I went to Electric Zoo in New York City, 2009, Labor Day weekend. And I went down to the hotel bar that I was staying at and ordered a White Russian. Take a guess how much that motherfucker cost.
Oh, no.
I can't...
$8?
10.
Oh my god.
That motherfucker cost $10.
$10.
It was about... I'm trying to find a comparably sized glass.
You can buy, if you go to a grocery store, you can buy a bottle of vodka for $10.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
the glass was about yay big. It's one of those cocktail glasses with like a handle and a stem,
filled with ice, I presume.
and it was about.
One of these ones that's triangular, kind of? Or?
No. It was like cylinder shaped, but it was only about yay tall.
Yeah,
sure. Not filled with ice, with foam. It was, and beyond that, it was weak. It was a weak fucking drink.
That now this goes along with the shit.
Now, well, if you do that, the bartender gives it back to you twice as strong as what you want.
Yeah, right.
Just to spite you.
Just ruining the drink.
But like, I didn't know better at the time. I was what, 2009. I was 21. I was literally just 21. And it was a weak White Russian. It was trendy. It was full of foam on the top.
Yeah.
And it wasn't satisfying. I spent $10 fucking dollars.
This is consistent with New York, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
See, I'm telling you,
I hadn't considered that. It was my first time to New York since I went when I was like 12, maybe, with my parents.
Yeah.
And didn't have to pay for stuff.
You basically can't get a beer in New York for less than $7.
No, I did find a place. 2 years later, in January of 2011, I went with a couple friends from Albany, and I told you about the the guy from the Dominican Republic, this Dominican taxi cab driver. He's got the suit and the leather gloves and everything. But I told you beforehand I got drunk, and that was the worst I'd ever had to piss in my life.
Were you in Brooklyn at the time?
No, I was in Manhattan, but I found an Irish pub. This is like lower Manhattan. This is like in the 40s.
Yeah.
I found an Irish pub that was selling drinks for like an actual decent price, a little up from what I'd be used to paying here, like $1 or $2 more.
Do they by any chance have like a sort of a courtyard nearby or something with like a bunch of vegetation?
There was...
Is it like when you cut through it to get to the bar maybe or anything?
There was, I think, a square nearby with grass and trees.
The thing is, I swear, in the 40s or somewhere, like maybe less than 8 blocks away from the Empire State Building, I went to a little Irish bar that was affordable to drink at back in like 2010.
Okay, so you're saying in the 40s, like the streets. I thought you meant like you went in the 1940s to an Irish pub. No, but
yeah.
But I don't know. God, if only I could remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But I remember the guy who was tending bar was actually genuinely Irish.
Yeah.
There was a sign.
So was the guy at the bar I went to.
Did he have gray hair and a mustache?
No.
Man, not the same bar.
I was getting excited. I thought we might have been to the same bar together.
There's a sign behind the bar that says Pog Matain. Which is I asked him. It's Gaelic for kiss my ass.
Yeah.
And I got a few good drinks for a reasonable price.
That's the place to go, man.
There's not a lot of those. There are probably lots of those places, but they're not where you expect them to be.
Right.
You know, you really have to, and you won't find them on like Google Maps.
Sure. No. I just walked down the street and it was like, hey, an Irish pub. I like those.
Yeah. About the best deal for drinks I ever got in New York was like $3 kamikazes.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it myself, and we smacked a billion of them.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I've never been to New York, so we're gonna have to do that.
Where
were
the $3 kamikazes? This sounds familiar.
Upper West Side, probably in
you're talking about it in New York. Okay, there was someplace around here I remember that did $3 kamikazes once.
Yeah. No, this was in New York, and it was on the Upper West Side, and I stumbled.
Never been to the Upper West Side.
You said you reminded me of a time Alec and I went to go see. I think we went to that Between the Buried and Me concert I was telling you about. We went to go see them, and we just left after Animals as Leaders played. We went down to the floor, and he's like, I was 20 at the time, and he's like, "Do you want to get a beer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "I'll be right back." And he went up to the bar at the House of Blues in Cleveland. He went up to the bartender and he said, "I want 2 Bud Light limes." And the guy grabs them from behind the bar, cracks them open, slides them over to him, and says, "That'll be $16."
Fuck you! Fuck you!
And Alec went, "I'm not paying for that."
That's not even consistent with Cleveland
He's like,
prices.
$16
for 2 12-ounce beers.
Yeah.
And not even good beer, fucking Bud Lights.
Lime, right? Yeah, it's Bud Light Lime. I could buy a bottle 6-pack for $7.
You know what?
The bottle.
This is advice time because you're reminding me. This is advice for anyone who hasn't been to New York and ever decides to go.
Yeah.
If you've never been, you got to go to Times Square just to see it because that's a touristy thing to do.
Just see it. Don't buy anything there.
Yeah.
When you're there, someone is going to try to give you basically next to nothing cheap tickets for a comedy show.
Yeah.
At Dangerfields, Rodney's Club on the east of Midtown. Do not do it because even though they sell the tickets for like $10 a pop, what'll happen is there's a 2-drink minimum served to you by a skeleton of a man who has worked there forever. He can't hear anything, so he yells at you while a comic is performing, and a Bud Light is 10. A Bud Light is $10.
No.
And again, 2-drink minimum. So if you spend $20 on tickets for you and someone else, you're going to spend $40 later for drinks.
Don't let people talk you into things in New York.
Exactly. It doesn't end well ever.
Just poke around and see what you find.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think is the best thing to do, is go and get lost.
God, well, I remember Alec was like, I'm not paying for that. He's just looking at the bartender and said, "I'm not paying for that." And the guy's like, "I already opened them, man." And he said, "Well, you drink them." He's like, "Yeah, all right." So he came over to me and he's like, "Yeah, he tried to charge me $16. Do you want to go to the bar next door?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, let's do that."
Yeah.
So he just like left and what
What
that?
a crock of shit that is.
Scam artistry.
Yeah, man. And people are paying him. Yes. Any show in the country, people are paying him. I got a beer at the Indians game that we went to go see for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I got a tall. It was at least it was a tall. It was like this size, 16-ounce Coors Light.
Yeah.
And it was $8. Like that's it.
Well, you're a captive audience at that point.
Dude, I'm in the nosebleeds. I can't afford an $8 beer. Come on now, a $5 beer. Okay, yeah, I'll pay the extra price, but $8?
Yeah.
What about some of the shit that falls into the trap at the bottom?
Yeah,
give me some of that.
Put it in a
Give me
cup.
like the slush.
Let me do the mat, man. Let's do it. Give me the Jersey Turnpike.
Yeah. I think a Tecate beer, like a 24-ounce Tecate in Madison Square Garden, was like $12.
Wow, that's crazy.
And you know what?
But it's
bought one.
But it's an import.
You have to.
It's an import.
It's a shitty import, but it's an import.
But it's an import.
Actually, I don't even think it's an import. I actually think Tecate might be brewed here.
Tecate's Mexican.
I think they're owned by Anheuser-Busch.
Are they really?
I think they're brewed
God
here.
damn it. Why does America have to ruin everything?
Good question.
That's ludicrous.
Luda! So anyway, when we come back,
Yes.
our recommendations,
Yes, sir.
and what we've learned.
Yeah.
Very
If
exciting.
anything.
Yeah, I don't think I learned a damn thing, but we'll find out.
All right, welcome back.
Yeah, we're back.
We're going to talk about our recommendations here. I had to ask for permission to do this because I didn't know if anyone else was going to, but we just spent a bit listening to Roger Waters perform Pigs, 3 different ones in Mexico City. Right?
Yeah, in Mexico City.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was
last
sometime
year,
in 2016.
October 1st, 2016, right
Just last
before
year.
Trump got put in.
Yeah.
Got put in.
Yeah.
It almost hurts to say was elected, but got put in sort of makes more sense anyway.
He wasn't elected.
Wait a second. But put in. Putin.
Ever since Trump got Putined,
He got put in office. That's pretty funny.
Collusion with a foreign power. It's a pretty.
It's Mueller time.
It's Mueller time, bitch. He's gonna go full Elliot Ness on this shit. He's gonna bring.
This episode brought to you by Mueller Light. Might seem like it's taking a while, but sooner or later you'll feel it.
In the words of Gerard Butler in Law Abiding Citizen, I'm gonna burn the whole diseased, corrupt temple to the ground.
man, everybody
It's gonna be biblical.
shits on that movie. That movie is fucking incredible.
It's really good.
Really
What
good.
movie is this?
Law-Abiding Citizen?
No, never saw it.
This is a dual recommendation. Watch
Yeah,
Live
okay.
Guy. It's a cheesy action movie kind of thing, but
It's what everyone wants to think they would do if their family was ever hurt.
yes.
Okay, so like straight up Token?
It's a movie where
Kinda.
you're supposed to root for the bad guy though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gerard Butler. You're supposed to root for Gerard
Yeah,
Butler, who is the bad guy.
Gerard Butler is a man whose family, his wife and his daughter were raped and killed by psychotic burglars.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx is the lawyer who got one of them a reduced sentence and got him basically set free for a stint in prison. The other one,
So God never gave him a chance for revenge.
Yes.
so he became Spider-Man.
So he
obviously.
becomes Spider-Man.
Obviously.
So what the rest of the movie is Gerard Butler taking out this gruesome jigsaw killer revenge on
Everybody.
not just the guy who went free, but the entire justice system.
Wow.
And basically wins.
It's not a fantastic movie, but it is cathartic.
It's a great movie if you're a guy and if you ever had the thought of man, if somebody ever hurts somebody, it's good for men because it's like a visual masturbatory aid.
Yeah.
Because it's like if somebody ever hurts somebody I love.
In the same way that Boondock Saints is a cathartic movie, in that we got all these fucking scumbags running around because the law is whatever. Why doesn't someone just fucking kill them?
Right, exactly.
It's that kind of a movie.
And oh man, it's really good.
So Anyway, my first recommendation, I was saying we were listening to Pigs, and so Animals. Listen to Animals by Pink Floyd. Yeah. It is my favorite Pink Floyd album.
Seconded. I have to listen to it.
Having listened from everything from Piper at the Gates of Dawn all the way up to Endless River.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Mm-hmm. Animals is my favorite album because it remains the timeliest. Dark Side of the Moon will remain relevant for all of human eternity, and because it's about life and death.
Sure. Yeah. So will the Wall, as long as there's personal struggle.
Yeah. Sure. But Animals is one, especially in this day and age, that's especially relevant because it is about the people wising up to the pigs that control the world and the dogs that enforce that rule of law. It's bookended by 2 tracks. Pigs on the Wing. Pigs on the Wing Part 1 and Part 2. Mm-hmm. And then Dogs is the first track, Pigs is the second, and Sheep is the third. Yeah, nice. It's conceptually brilliant. It's musically invigorating. Yeah. Like if Pigs, 3 different ones, doesn't make you want to just burn something down, you have intense. No soul. It is a none too thinly veiled attack on every rich bureaucratic fuckhead who thinks that who pretends to be acting in the best interests of their people, but just get more wealth and more power.
Yeah, you described this album as close to punk as they get, right?
Right. Really, that song that one specific song is about as close to punk as Pink Floyd has ever gotten.
Yeah, I think that philosophy is very punk. I think that's really cool.
Sure.
I think I said in 2016 when the election happened. Maybe it took me like a month and a half to finish recoiling, and then I think I said, punk's gonna make a comeback.
If there was ever anything that could get Jello Biafra back with the dead Kennedys, it's Trump. Do you know what I mean?
And I think this that makes this album particularly timely. It's a real speak to power moment.
Dogs has one of the most.
It's the finest guitar work that David Gilmour ever put to wax.
Well, but it also has one of the most prescient. Am I pronouncing that right?
I think so.
One of the it's a line that's going to remain relevant throughout all of time, and it's you've got to be trusted by the people that you lie to, so that when they turn their backs on you, you'll get the chance to put the knife in.
Right.
Yeah. It's again none too thinly veiled, but it still manages to be very, very poetic and very. Just it's intense. It's very intense compared to Dark Side or The Wall, which has various rises and falls.
Yeah.
The entire bulk of Animals is all just intensity throughout. It's very angry. It's an angry album.
Yeah. People don't give Roger Waters enough credit as a lyricist, I don't think.
No, Roger Waters is absolutely every beautiful, sad, angry, emotional line you've ever heard in a Pink Floyd album.
He's like a more emotional Pete Townsend because there's a lot of bite and bitterness behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a lot of innate sadness behind every Pink Floyd, especially when you know what the songs are about.
Gilmour provides the substance. Gilmour provides the style. Waters provides the substance.
Sure. Well, and then I would argue that Rich Wright, with his accents, and then Nick Mason on the drums.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What a great rhythm section, man. I mean, they just hold the whole thing together.
For sure.
I'm going to listen to this album this week.
Oh, it's a great album. Good choice.
Animals by Pink Floyd.
Give it 2 listens.
Yeah.
Because it's different than any other Pink Floyd album.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It doesn't follow the same vein that the rest of them. Like, you could trace their progression from Piper to, you know what I mean, after Roger Waters left, to Endless River.
The popular perception too is like when you hear Pink Floyd on the radio, it's always either
money,
brain damage, money,
Wish You Were Here.
Wish You Were Here. It's always more downtoned psychedelic kind of things that usually incorporate some kind of major element in their structure. But Animals is just all anger.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all just anger, and it's really a plea for people to just kind of recognize. Yeah.
I like that. I think a lot of the music that sits with you comes from a place of like real, genuine, like that passion that breaks through the music, where you know that the artist is really invested in what they have to say.
Sure.
Yeah.
Music as the work of an auteur kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
That's the stuff that you never forget how you felt when you heard it.
Yeah.
That's entirely what grabs me about the Doors, for instance. Is there's nothing else that sounds like it, so I can't help but feel a certain way when I listen to the Doors.
Sure.
But yeah, Animals absolutely is Pink Floyd manages to weasel in at least once an album some subtle dig at the music industry or people in power. But nothing is subtle about Animals.
Nothing.
Animals is 100% fuck the people who think they run the world.
Yeah.
It's rock and roll in its purest, most diluted form, and it's beautiful. Yeah. It's absolutely beautiful. Diluted might not be the right word for it. Most concentrated.
Yeah. Most undiluted.
Undiluted.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You were almost there. You were just.
I'm mixing up my science here. It's rock and roll in its purest, most concentrated form. In that it's an entire album dedicated to saying "fuck the man."
Yeah.
In so many words,
I like the way you give the middle finger.
Just the middle finger. I flipped someone off in traffic for the first time in years.
I rolled down my window and yelled at somebody for the first time.
I should have, because this motherfucker was standing still to the green light looking at his fucking phone. And so I laid on my horn for like 5 seconds until he moved.
Yeah.
And then I tried to get in the left lane to pass him, and he fucking cuts me off to get into the parking lot he's trying to go to. And so I just, I gave him one of these.
I do that. I throw the finger up all the time.
He was such...
Always.
What a cocksucker.
Carry a weapon in your car, and then you feel a little bit better doing it.
Keep a baseball bat accessible.
I've got my tire wrench, man.
Brass knuckles.
Solid steel. Anyway, my other recommendation. This was the main one that I had before Animals came up, and I started thinking about how great of an album Animals is. Puerto Rico. Many sections of Puerto Rico are still without electricity and running water.
This is pertinent. Man.
My recommendation is donate some money to Puerto Rico. There's plenty of great avenues to do it.
Okay.
There are a few other nations.
They still need it. They still need a lot of help
in Central America and the Caribbean that are affected by it. But Puerto Rico, they're U.S. territory. They're a bit closer to home.
Yeah.
If there's one place that a reasonable American should help out first, it would be Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Because
it's America.
Yeah, and because the fucking Orange Goblin masquerading as a world leader didn't do nearly enough. He took some free throws of paper towels into a crowd of Puerto Ricans. Donate some money to Puerto Rico. That's my recommendation. If you have some extra spare cash and you don't know what to do with it. Yeah. It's
$5-10. You know what I mean?
Really, anything helps.
Anything.
Absolutely anything helps.
No, seriously.
No, I'm laughing because I'm remembering not that long ago, Mark Zuckerberg took the Puerto Rico crisis as an opportunity to show off Facebook VR. It's just making me think of this, where they drove a car through the streets of Puerto Rico, which is of course, flooded all over the place, but they superimpose a avatar version of Mark Zuckerberg and his co-presenter.
And just wiping a single tear out of his eye.
No, they're really, honest to God, they're trying to talk about what's going on seriously, but you can't take it seriously because it's a cartoon Zuckerberg with dead VR eyes trying to point and demonstrate things to you. It's just, to me, it's
masturbatory.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, just
So fuck that. Give money. Do something actually helpful.
The worst thing that has happened to Youngstowners at large in the past year is the fucking tornado that blew through Boardman.
Yeah. What do they call that again? Where it touches down so fast? The like a microburst.
Microburst. Yeah.
Microburst.
Yeah.
Microaggressions.
Will not micro stand.
Mother Nature is the real bigot here. Bigoted against humans, but. Yeah, like now imagine that 100-fold.
Yeah.
They're without basic utilities right now, and still, even what Irma happened in October, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still this long, and they're still struggling. Donate some money to Puerto Rico, please.
Yeah,
not food. The other thing too is people like to donate clothes and food. A lot of that stuff just sits and goes bad.
Yeah,
they
by
need
the time it can get it to
they need your money more than they need you to donate stuff. Let them decide what to do.
It's the utilities that are suffering. They need power and they need water. Yeah. And they're gonna need some money to get that shit back up and running.
If you donate, I'm gonna make a suggestion to people because I've donated before. If you make that donation, don't opt to let them put you on a list because everybody, if you're a liberal and you're nice and you donate to people, which is kind of they'll send you every liberal rag that's asking for money.
I still get emails from everybody.
Yeah,
because I donated to a few things once.
Opt off of that list because they will blow up your mailbox. Like your actual in your house mailbox,
and with shit that's nowhere near as important.
Right? Exactly. Exactly.
This is important.
This is very important.
Really, really important. These are people. These are
people. Does say that these are people?
It's insult to injury because they're a territory of the United States. They're part of the United States in a big way.
Right.
But they can't be a part of our democratic process, and they get shit on when they need us.
Yeah, they're Americans. A vast majority of Puerto Ricans want to become a U.S. state.
Yeah,
that's a real thing that actually is happening.
Yeah,
and so they are in spirit Americans. Yeah. They are your countrymen. Help them out.
Yeah, don't see them as less than, and don't see them as something that someone else is going to deal with. I think that's a good recommendation. I think I will give this week.
Yeah, it's a good idea. What, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you guys 3 choices for an album.
Okay.
I kind of didn't do that last week. For brevity's sake, but I think we're going to get back to it this week. This is going to be a really close examination. I think part of the reason that I like doing this is because I'll be able to listen to these years from now and know where I was at musically at that time.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a deep delve into where I am musically. What's up?
I had one more recommendation, but let's bring it around.
Okay. I'm going to give you guys 3 choices for an album, and they're all going to be very similar.
Okay.
Do you want a post-hardcore album? First
option.
Do you want a second post-hardcore album with a little more emotionality behind it?
Okay.
Do you want a 1990s avant-garde noise rock album?
I feel like you would like option 2 because post-hardcore with a little emotionality behind it sounds a lot like how I would describe Interpol.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, they're a post-punk band, but that's not that far off the mark. Option 2 really appeals to me, but so does option 3. I leave it to you to break that decision.
Let's do option 2.
We're going to do option 2?
Yeah.
I'm glad you said this because it's very timely. We lost another rock legend.
Mm-hmm. Wait, another one?
Another one that maybe not a lot of people know about.
Oh, God damn it.
We lost him a couple months ago, and it wasn't like a widely publicized thing, I think largely because a lot of people in the major population don't really know this. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't know this group unless you really went digging into this genre and this era. Grant Hart.
The Moody Blues.
The Moody Blues.
The Turtles.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, did you say Brett the Hitman Hart?
No, I said Grant Hart.
Grant Hart.
Grant Hart was the drummer and co-lead vocalist of the 1980s post-hardcore band Husker Du.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
So, this is a name...
I've heard this name.
Yeah, exactly. This is a name that you've heard.
Don't forget the umlauts.
Yeah, exactly.
I got the umlauts.
You've probably never dove into this music before unless you went looking for it. It's a band that you kind of have to go looking for.
Yeah.
And a group... This is the best way I can describe Husker Du. When the Pixies were looking for a bassist, Kim Deal responded to an ad in the paper that said, searching for a female bassist for a band, you have to... who both appreciates the music of Peter, Paul, and Mary and Husker Du. And that's how they signed. That's how they
found Kim
Deal for the Pixies.
So bad.
So Grant Hart was the drummer and co-lead singer of Husker Du. He died a couple months back.
I didn't realize you could do lead singing while being a drummer.
You can. Dave Clark.
Does the microphone not pick up?
Well, you have your own mic.
You're a little away.
You're a little away, and then you use a condenser mic, so it's just picking up your vocal.
Okay.
So
before you go too much further, I want to tell you I am seeing the Pixies live.
You did, yeah, I heard.
Damn,
that's incredible. That's incredible.
We are going to see them in July, and they're touring with Weezer.
Yeah,
which is going to be a great.
Well, you said
show.
You said on the Goose Chase podcast that middle school you is going nuts. Me too.
Trisha is freaking out.
Right, Trisha said we have to go see Weezer, and I said we have to go see the Pixies. It was my response.
If you
have we a deal for you.
Yeah, right.
If you happen to be interested in seeing them at the same show and are interested in making a real big drive, we're seeing them in Jersey.
Yeah, so that might not be a bad idea.
But they're also going to be like at Blossom.
Here, right, I know. At
so I leave it totally to you. But we'll be at the one in Jersey, which will be great. Anyway, I didn't mean to stop you there.
But no, Grant Hart died at the age of like 56, I think. He was the drummer and penned a lot of great songs for Husker Du. Husker Du, if you don't know anything about them, they kind of erupted out of the hardcore scene, which happened in the 80s between the years of 1980 and, let's say, it was this flash in the pan of music that blossomed out of punk rock.
Yeah.
And turned into just something a little more aggressive. When you see modern, like, mosh pits, that came from hardcore. Because it started with slam dancing, which is kind of like the arms flailing, you know, bouncing around. Stuff you'd see at like the Dead Kennedy shows.
Where do you put Fugazi? Are they anywhere
They're
near
post-hardcore. It's post-hardcore, yeah. And that was actually going to be one of the first album.
Yeah.
Was going to be a Fugazi album, and maybe we'll come back to that at some point.
Yeah.
But the Husker Du, if you know nothing about them, they blossomed out of that flash in the pan hardcore scene.
Yeah.
And those were bands like Minor Threat was one of my favorite bands of all time. SSD Control, Black Flag.
Black Flag was the one I was
Black
thinking
Flag.
of.
I'm trying to think of some obscure ones. Gangrene, Millions of Dead Cops, Bad Brains. You know what I mean? Like these bands that played in the same vein as the Ramones, really aggressive songs, fast but even faster. Do you know what I mean? Like minute and 20-second long hardcore, jump around, push people kind of songs, you know, and it was just this raw expression of emotion.
Yeah.
And Husker Du's first album was, for all intents and purposes, a very skillfully crafted hardcore album. Like very, very fast, really great technical musicians, these guys. The second album, which is the album that I'm going to recommend to you, is an album called Zen Arcade. And it was the second LP. It was basically a double LP by Husker Du. And
2 words, yeah.
Zen Arcade, right.
Zen Arcade.
And if you listen to this record, I will say this. I think Rolling Stone, it's a rock opera, basically. When you stretch it down, what it is a rock opera. Rolling Stone classified it as I think they called it the punk rock quadrophenia. It's a punk rock opera. Yeah. So they maintained that hardcore feel, but they stretched away and they went into psychedelia. They went into jazz. They used piano a lot more. They used acoustic work. And it's a double album that basically tells the story in punk rock fashion of a kid who's at home, disaffected, home abused, sad, miserable home life, and he goes out into the world in an attempt to find his own satisfaction, and ultimately fails. Basically, like he goes out into the world and does the things that you do when you're a young kid. Yeah. Religion, drugs,
fucking around,
you know what I mean?
Destroying property.
Exactly. Like it goes through all those stages of that, and then it ultimately ends with acceptance of well, maybe I can't find that. You know what I mean? That thing.
Yeah, maybe this is just what life is.
Right. So it's an album that it's been said that more than any other album has attributed to the what we know now today as alternative music. It's had more of an effect on the genre of alternative than any other album. It was an album that really didn't perform super well. Their next album, which is another great one called New Day Rising, did perform very well. But Zen Arcade was the one that the musicians listened to and went, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
This is the record.
Like an influence album.
Now, for some context for me, because I tend to frame things more like temporally. When did Zen Arcade come out?
1984.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
1984.
okay.
So hardcore is still going on at this point, but it's reaching its later stages. You already had like the big Minor Threat released a bunch their EPs. Yeah. Bad Brains at this point was probably going more towards like the reggae feel instead of the punk rock.
I think when we hear movements like post-hardcore, we tend to think it's like, okay, hardcore died and then this came. Exactly. I think it really is more of a transition,
extension.
Yeah, it's
emo.
like
What it extends into is pre-emo. Yeah. Although a lot of these bands would kind of deny that. Fugazi,
they don't want to be associated.
Right. Well, no. Right. Exactly. But Fugazi is classified as like a precursor to.
It's proto shoegaze.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's pre. It's pre-emo. Husker Du certainly pre-emo. Rites of Spring pre-emo, but still with that hardcore feel. So this is really fuzzy, heavy, hardcore music.
This predates or no, it doesn't really. It comes after Joy Division.
Yeah,
Joy Division's late 70s, and it's still 2 decades ahead of its own time.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is like I feel like
because Joy Division's first album was like what 78, 79?
Right. Yeah, 79, I think.
Joy Division is legitimate post-punk, right? I mean, that's
before punk was even like solidified as a thing. It was already going beyond.
Post-punk. Well, that's the cool thing about music. Yeah. But Zen Arcade
That's what I mean when I say like post doesn't mean the thing is over. It means people have said, okay, I understand what this music movement is, and this is like sort of something falling out of that.
Here's what I'm taking away from this. Right. Here's what I am a listener is taking away from it. Yeah. And here's what I, as an artist, am creating from it.
Well, it's not entirely its own distinct thing, but it's building on that movement.
Right.
Something different.
Well, this is such an interesting time for music to me because a lot of my favorite bands come out of this time. I'm thinking about the way I felt when I was younger and when I first discovered these bands. Angry Kid, you know what I mean? Minor Threat. I'm thinking like this time when post-hardcore was coming out and it came out of that real violent, pushy, angry, I'm pissed off. This is the more emotional aspect. So like Minutemen, Double Nickels on the Dime is considered, I guess, a post-hardcore record.
But what about Limp Bizkit? They use cuss words.
Oh my god.
They did use cuss words. I think it's a fair question. I think you should answer the question.
They use cuss words. They use cuss words. They're in tune with the youth.
There was a starfish. I remember he was their
chocolate
mascot.
Starfish.
He was and the hot dog flavored water.
Yeah.
I shouted that at my girlfriend yesterday when I was
chocolate starfish.
When I was actually cooking frozen hot dogs on the George Foreman grill.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Look, it's a hot dog flavored water."
Is that? Do I know? What is that? Is that?
That's an album. That's a Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, but what did that mean? I mean, is it just like?
Well, chocolate starfish is a butthole.
Is it like buttholes and pee or something?
No, hot dog flavored water. I don't
hot dog flavored water might be urine.
Pee. Yeah. I don't know.
We're
getting off on a tangent here. I'm trying to. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to do a thing.
I'm trying to talk. No, seriously. Husker Du is a band that people have heard of but never listened to.
They Husker did.
Turn that Husker Don't into a Husker Do.
I saw that.
Yeah, but this is I've been listening to a lot of like that hardcore. It's wintertime, so my music tastes get a little angrier in the winter.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to a lot of that stuff that I haven't picked up in a while. A lot of that hardcore stuff. But this album is a tremendous influence, and there's some really killer stuff on there. They took punk rock and they put emotional lyrics to it. They took Roger Waters-esque lyrics and put them onto punk rock. And I will tell you this, it's a loud album. It's very noisy. If you're a fan of punk rock, it's going to sound a little more technical than most punk rock you hear because these guys are really talented musicians. And they're throwing these loops and these lines in there very quickly. Yeah. So musically speaking, it's very incredible, but it's also very noisy. So I would recommend if you're not accustomed to listening to punk rock, listen to that album with the lyrics in front of you because it's worth it. It's very, very poetic.
Here's something that's thrown me for a loop lately is like I can't classify Green Day.
They're punk.
But
I know a lot of people will shoot me for that. They're punk.
No, they are.
They're punk rock.
Yeah.
No one
likes to see them that way,
but like
they've been around since '87. They're punk rock.
They're kind of pop punk, but they're
sure, and
they're punk.
But they're punk.
But that's what's throwing me for a loop is like I can't name a single Green Day song that isn't in a major key.
Yeah, sure.
And that's punk. And that's weird, isn't it? It's like it's all very sad and angry, but it's all in a major key.
The thing is, they're part of a transition of a different kind of punk music that eventually and a lot of people consider them sellouts. A lot of people consider
I don't care. You know
what?
Like,
but the reason that
fuck
opinion, the reason that opinion persists is because what they were a part of and what followed is a lot of very sanitized, marketable punk. Right?
Sure, but
which is in some way antithetical to the roots of punk, but is not a delegitimizing factor as far
not
as
at all.
considering
Who doesn't want to make money off their music?
That's the most punk rock thing I can think of. They took themselves and they made punk rock marketable. This is massive. That's the most punk rock thing I can think of.
Exactly the same criticisms are leveled at certain rap artists.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre addresses that in 2001. I moved out of the hood for good. You blame me?
You're right. Yeah, exactly. No, it's true, man. It's true.
Like, of course I'm going to make money. I don't want to fucking live in obscurity for the rest of my life.
I was not a fan of American Idiot.
That's about where I fell off.
That's where I fell off. Because it is the most commercial album, but it's still a punk rock album.
The title track is, the rest of it is an opera.
Yeah, exactly.
Aubrey introduced me to that. I never listened to anything past, the first track, the title track, American Idiot.
Right.
But then the rest of it is, Jesus of Suburbia.
And even, that's, I don't really like that album, but that's punk rock. I mean, that's the most punk rock thing I can think of.
Totally.
They shoved it in your face, man.
Yeah.
That's punk rock. They've been around since the fucking 80s, man. They're still punk.
Yeah.
I'm lukewarm on whether they're real, genuine punk or not.
No, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. They're still punk rock. They're still punk rock.
But punk rock doesn't mean impoverishing.
And this
yourself.
is coming from a serious punk rock fan. Yeah. I did hardcore music in particular.
Do you remember the Grouch? Do you remember that track by Radiohead?
Yeah.
Radiohead. Green Day.
Green Day. Right.
Remember the Grouch? I was a young boy that had big plans.
Nimrod?
Now I'm just another shitty old man.
Yeah. Nimrod?
Yeah.
Was that Nimrod?
Yeah, I think it was Nimrod. Where he says, what's he say after that? I don't have fun and I hate everything. The world owes me, so fuck you.
Yeah, all right.
That's
punk rock. Yeah,
that's pretty punk.
Yeah, and the world paid its dues. Right. To be fair.
Yeah.
You can't say the world owes me and then not accept when the world pays you its dues. Yeah.
So let me get back on topic here. Yeah. I want to really focus in on this because I think
please.
A lot of times when I recommend albums, I recommend them to you because I know you expressed a huge interest in listening to a lot of this stuff.
Absolutely. Husker Du's Video Arcade. I actually
Zen
wrote
Arcade.
Zen Arcade. Yeah. I'm sorry. Did I say Voodoo Arcade?
Yeah, you did.
That's okay.
That's another.
I'm saving that in my head because that's a really good title.
I was going to say I recommend a lot to you, Dave. I think this is an album that you will appreciate.
I wrote it down.
I think you'll both get it, but you knowing the kind of music that you grew up on and the kind of music that affects your taste, this is an album that you're going to listen to and go, "Oh yeah." You know what I mean?
In my head, this is a slightly more rotten Tommy.
Yeah, it is. It is very. I mean, it's fuzzy music played very quickly and very skillfully. I'm gonna name a couple tracks. I had to pull them up because this is a long album.
Yeah.
So like a hotter Joy Division.
Kind of. Yeah. Kind of. I'll play you guys an example here when we break. But
let's Chromecast that shit.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. Something I learned today is the title track. Never Talking to You Again is a good one.
You make me hold your hands for stupid reasons.
My favorite track on there is a track called Somewhere. Yeah, that's a great one. The one that I wanted to talk about is a track called Pink Turns Blue.
I'm gonna download this to my play library right now.
Is that like a transgender thing?
No, Pink Turns Blue is again. This is about a kid going out into the world. This is about a kid going out in the world and searching for things, and he goes through all the religion and drugs and all this stuff. Pink Turns Blue is about a song about his girlfriend.
This one?
That's it, yeah.
All right, downloading it right now.
Love turning to sadness.
Well, his girlfriend overdosing on drugs and dying.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So her skin turning pink to blue.
Right, but pink turns blue. Fuck. Right. And then the song that everyone kind of knows the album for is a song called Turn on the News, which is the penultimate track. The final track is a track called Reoccurring Dreams.
Yeah, it's 14 minutes long. I just noticed that.
It's annoying.
On an album of songs that are 2 minutes long.
And it's for all intents and purposes, an instrumental
crescendo to the album.
Shit, let's listen to that tonight.
It's a fucking great record, and it's loud and noisy. You want to put the lyrics on when you listen to it.
Sure,
but it's such a great effect, and all of Husker Du's albums are very good, and they had they were like Fugazi in the same vein of not trying to charge people a lot of money to go see their shows.
Right.
Which I'm a huge fan of. That's the punk rock mentality. Hard playing, hard touring, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not ripping people off. And Husker Du's music is really incredible, and if you're into alternative music, it's a great starting point to get into.
Nice. Isn't that a fucking thing? Like, that's been going on for, thousands of years now, where people just, don't charge people a lot, even just play in the streets for fucking free.
I'm sure I'll talk about Fugazi at some point on this podcast because I've been listening to a lot of Fugazi again lately.
Ed Elaine Johnson. He plays an electric violin. He's got a few albums out. He plays some concerts, but he will routinely just go and busk throughout England.
Yeah.
He'll just set his violin case out and he'll just fucking play.
Sure.
He'll just make shit up on the fly.
Most likely not because he needs to, but because he wants to play it.
Because he wants to. He doesn't need to. He absolutely doesn't need to. He's a brilliant violinist.
Yeah.
I gotta show you some videos of him, but...
Your shirt is on inside out.
You sure about that?
Your seams are all on the outside. Sorry.
Not bad.
I just noticed it.
Not bad.
You're the first person to notice that all day. None of my clients noticed it. My girlfriend didn't notice it.
I'm sorry, I just noticed it. I had to say something.
What the? How did I go for this long with my fucking shirt inside out?
I don't know, but you got it fixed now, buddy.
It's good. There you go, buddy.
No one noticed that. No one pointed it out. I've been to public places today. I bought beer. I've gotten fucking cigar.
Well, the good news is no one noticed.
Yeah, there you go.
They would have said something.
I mean, yeah. There's not it's just for you listening. It's just a forest green shirt with a V-neck.
Yeah.
That's it.
Forest green, incidentally, is one of my favorite colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this color. It's a very calming color.
Let me put a cap on this.
Yeah.
It's very sad that Grant Hart died, and
Yeah.
it's one of those things that if you're into punk rock and alternative music, and in particular, which Dave, I know you are, that part of the '80s where it was a lot of indie, left of the dial kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's a period of a lot of experimentation, a lot of people willing to do a lot of things for very little money.
People
for integrity.
people shit on the '80s for being really commercial, and that's true. But there's always something underneath that you have to search for. And
there always is.
Husker Du is one of those bands, and it's just I'm sad that Grant Hart's dead, and I'm sad that Husker Du is never going to have the chance to play again.
That's the thing. People were like, music was so much better in the 70s and 80s, but
you got to look for it. That's all.
Right. That's the thing. Like, all anyone remembers is the good shit. All anyone remembers is The Wall. All anyone remembers is Back in Black. But there was plenty of shitty music that came out around that too, Yeah.
The difference is we played it more on the radio at those times.
Right.
You got to look for it a little harder.
There's entire musical soundscapes in any era that you go to, and you got to look for it. You got to really look for it.
Lest I remind you that the Captain and Tennille were pretty damn popular.
Tony, Orlando, and Don. Pretty popular.
The gold is not always what's wildly accessible and most popular.
Your recommendations, Dave. Start while I take a piss.
All right.
I'm going to be listening from in here.
Okay. So I actually have 3. I'm not going to do them all. I'll save some of these for another time. The one I wanted to recommend is one that I haven't finished. I have 20 minutes left in it. It's a documentary. So this might be a little bit of a weird recommendation because I haven't seen the very, very ending of it. But I think it's something that deserves watching. And I pulled up a page on it because I wanted to remember all the names involved. It is a Netflix original documentary, and it is called Voyeur.
What?
It's called Voyeur.
Voyeur.
Yes.
V-O-Y-E-U-R.
Yes, V-O-Y-E-U-R, Voyeur.
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 Foyer. No, so...
It's supposed to be cultural men, Dave. God damn it.
I don't know if they...
They're going to come over and give us a moist Kyo.
Yeah, the French are gonna moist Guillaume the shit out of
I
us.
have Miller Lite in your freezer.
We can't
Yes, you do.
mispronounce their shit. We stole the word voyeur from the French. We can't fucking mispronounce it.
So, this documentary, like I said, it's a Netflix original. I wanted to pull it up and get some of the details absolutely right. It centers around an investigative reporting piece by a journalist named Gay Talese. I knew that was going. He wrote throughout the 70s and 80s. He wrote a lot of very interesting, in-depth, investigative articles and books. He wrote a book called Thy Neighbor's Wife, I believe, that was centered all around sex in America and sort of looking into the ways that people's sex lives revealed a lot about who they are and all that. He's actually a very interesting writer. He wrote a book that was published in 2016 called The Voyeur's Hotel, and it centered around a real person who bought a hotel in the Denver, Colorado area many, many years ago. I want to say it was in the...
so not Denver, Minnesota. We're talking Denver, Colorado.
Yes, that Denver.
That Denver. The big Denver.
Basically.
The biggest of Denvers.
There's a guy named... his name is Raymond Foos, I believe. Is it Raymond? Mm-hmm. I want to make sure that I get this correct. Gerald Foos. So he bought a motel in the late 60s. Mm-hmm. And he converted it into a voyeur's paradise. Oh. It's actually very, very creepy to listen to. What he had done.
You don't say.
Yeah. Because it's an arched roof motel where he had converted the entire attic crawl space area so that he could look down into the rooms of all of his guests. Which is, obviously unsettling. What makes his story unique is that he also journaled obsessively for a couple of decades over all of the habits of all of the guests of his motel in explicit detail, not just sexual, but everything they did. From the meals they ate to what times they came and went. He considers himself, and this is the weirdest part of it all.
Just when I think autism couldn't possibly be turned up to 11.
This guy noted everything. He considers himself, he likes to think of himself, which I think is a bit of rationalization. He likes to think he's a researcher. But he knows that there's a sexual component to it for him. Yeah. He talks about it in this documentary.
Makes me look at Jane Goodall a whole lot differently. Jesus.
Yeah, no, he's weird. He's super weird.
Does he have a dead mother in his basement? Or
No such thing. In fact, here's the crazy thing about him. By every other measure, he's a really normal guy. He had not one but two wives who were complicit in this whole scheme. The first wife who helped him build it and test it out to be sure that people could not see or hear him.
Wow.
The second wife who simply helped continue this operation would bring him food up there because he'd be up all night watching people. This guy is super unsettling. And Gay Talese, years ago, had been invited to see it. And actually went and saw this motel. And did not report it to the authorities. And the whole documentary is a very ethically confusing just nightmare.
Mess, yeah.
Yeah, of someone knew that this was happening. Someone knew this existed. A respected, somewhat respect. I actually not very well respected, but a journalist.
Did this guy, this voyeur, did he ever rape or kill anyone?
To the best of my understanding, and again, I haven't seen the last 20 minutes, but no. To the best of my understanding, he was explicitly an observer.
At what point is it no longer okay to be curious?
Well, I think that the entire thing is not okay. People are paying you for a room and expecting some kind of privacy.
It's okay to be curious, but that's as far as it needs to go when it comes to other people. You don't kind of in the same way that
it's a huge violation of privacy.
You don't go into somebody's bedroom when they're not there and start snooping around their drawers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Don't?
Yeah. Right. Well, you know what I mean? It's okay to be curious about how other people live their lives because it's generally fascinating that
Sure.
People live a life that's different than yours. But you don't explore those things for the sake of privacy.
I want to know that the pastor of the church down the road, does some S&M stuff with his wife. Like he has his mouth zippered up and begs to be spanked.
But of course we don't violate each other's privacy or trust.
Right. Unless you're the government.
Yeah. In which case it's fine.
Right. Isn't that a fucking weird thing though? Like it feels to me like knowing something, knowing secrets are power.
Sure.
If Littlefinger taught us anything, it's that secrets are power.
Yeah.
It's the knowing things, and I feel like maybe why people are so bad at keeping secrets is because they want to demonstrate that power. They want to say, "Oh, of course I know about it." Yeah. Donald Trump likes to be ridiculed for his small penis in the bedroom. Of course I know that. I'm gonna tell that to the Huffington Post.
What's interesting to me about this documentary, there's a lot of interesting things. Gerald Foos only speaks about all of this because he knows the statute of limitations has expired.
Yeah.
He knows that now it is time for him to be able to talk about it, and most importantly, he's compelled to, because the crazy thing about this guy is that as much as this was a kink, it was also his life's work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Well, and the fact that it's his life's work bears watching.
I'm sure using a dandruff shampoo isn't like a kink thing to him. It's like an obsession. It's I gotta know what these people are doing. It was very
sexual for him. It was definitely arousal. It was definitely wrong,
but not all of it.
The thing this is why it's very murky and very interesting to watch. I do think this dude is...
It's creepy. It's fucked. I think it's fucked. It's
and definitely illegal.
And again,
very illegal. Yeah.
And again, for the audience, what is this documentary called?
It's called Voyeur.
Voyeur.
But here's what I'd say. Like, Hitler's life's work is worth watching because you know what I mean. Anybody's
as far as documentary.
Anybody's life's work is worth watching, whether it's fucked or not. And this is certainly fucked.
You know what? But I tried reading Mein Kampf once. I did. Yeah. Honestly, honest to God, I tried to read Mein Kampf.
Got a lot of weird looks at the library. I had to explain that at YSU. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
It's simple.
Not really into Hitler.
No, not into Hitler.
20th century curiosity.
Right.
It does reveal a lot about the time, a lot about the climate in Germany in the mid-1930s.
Yeah.
But holy fuck, Hitler was such a fucking whiner.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a bitch.
Poor me.
Yeah.
Poor me.
Yeah. Great writer.
Well, he didn't write it. He didn't write it.
Yeah. He's not the best.
He didn't write it.
He
dictated it in a cell to his cellmate, who is a name you would recognize, but I forget. Yeah. He didn't write it. He dictated it.
Albert Einstein.
Victor von Poopenstein. All right, go ahead. Finish up.
Yeah, no, basically...
Edvard von Halen.
Now, I would say about this documentary...
No descendants of note, incidentally.
If you can stomach the fact that this documentary paints a picture of a person as a person, despite the very despicable thing that they did. And this does. It actually, I think it presents him too sympathetically.
But that's important. That is really important in this climate.
Yeah.
I think in America, I think... the core of the American justice system is not one of rehabilitation, it's one of vengeance.
Yeah. And from a clinical psych perspective, there's a lot of value to this guy's story.
Exactly.
The whole reason that this is of note is that it sheds light on a particular kind of person, how we can identify them, what their obsession is.
Yes.
It lets us understand this condition. Understanding
is the way to solving it. Obviously, it's not okay to watch people take a shower if they don't know you're doing it.
Yeah.
But it's understanding that and that's a tall order, of course. You can't ask a person just willy-nilly to be to understand the reasons behind something like this. It's delving into a part of the human psyche that most people would rather not think about. Yeah. So same deal with stuff like pedophilia or incest or things we would rather not think about.
On some level, the human condition is one of morbid curiosity.
Sure. Absolutely.
This documentary touches on that. It tells us a lot about a particular kind of person. And if you can stomach the fact that the documentary observes him as much as he observes others, I think it's a valid watch.
It absolutely should be.
Yeah.
Deus Ex, probably one of the greatest video games ever made.
Yeah.
Has a fantastic dialogue between the protagonist and a prototype AI.
Yeah.
Where the AI posits that the individual desires judgment. Because without that desire, the cohesion of groups is impossible, and therefore civilization.
Yeah, belonging is impossible without scrutiny.
Right.
Like there must be an evaluative force.
Yeah, it's a scary thought, and he posits that where that desire was once satisfied by the idea of God, it's now satisfied by government.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's the scary part of the whole dialogue.
Sure.
So that's it. That's my recommendation. Watch Voyeur if you can stomach it. I think it's a very good watch.
Cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I for one have learned that
We
have learned many things. I've learned that you should never buy booze in New York City.
Yeah.
Never. It's a bad value proposition.
Unless you're at like Dwayne Reed or something where you can get like a 6-pack for $8 or $9 like you could in Ohio here.
Yeah. I learned that you shouldn't be a pedo, man.
Don't be a pedo.
Don't be a pedo.
Don't be a pedo.
Tisk tisk, wag of the finger. I'd say no.
Yeah.
I learned that if your avatar has a woman in it anywhere, you will get harassed, and what a bummer that is.
Yep, I did when I was playing World of Warcraft. I had two male avatars that were my mains, a paladin and a rogue.
Yeah.
And one female avatar.
Yeah.
Female avatar got a lot more whispers.
Yeah.
I wanted her to be a woman because it was more appropriate to her character.
Yeah.
And the fucking whispers were insane.
Side note, don't ever send a picture of your dick to anybody.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Ever.
Don't.
Ever.
No.
Even if they ask for it. It's just, you don't want that out there forever.
Yeah.
Keep your dicks to yourselves.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's good advice.
Your body is a temple and the dick is the most sacred altar.
I don't know about
Sacred.
that. Sacred. It's
Well,
something.
what? What's the most sacred part? If your body's a temple, what's the most sacred part?
My asshole.
Yeah, my asshole. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely my asshole.
Chocolate starfish!
Chocolate starfish!
Chocolate starfish!
I wrote down Hail Keezer.
Hail Keezer?
And
Yeah.
I'm going to write that on that thing when it's done.
Yep.
Oh,
You okay? Oh, that hurt.
I rocked my head back to laugh and I
sorry.
just slammed it into the wall.
I learned that EA still sucks, and they're finally paying for it.
Yep.
Finally.
I wrote, don't pre-order anything with EA on it. Don't do it.
Yep. Always. I also had down. Always look at reviews before you buy something.
I learned that you should watch out for cheap Chinese shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Always.
Yeah. I learned,
or perhaps more appropriately, especially if you're in New York, expensive Chinese shit.
Yeah.
right. I learned there is an expression in Gaelic for kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Hey.
Did not know that.
Yeah. I learned that. This is the one. Dr. Jackstraw, the abnormal drug
Yeah.
Dr. Jackstraw.
And I also learned that Dragon's Milk is pretty damn good. And actually,
It's a good beer, man.
While being really expensive,
very good.
I will buy this again.
Yeah, it's a good beer. Good beer.
Absolutely.
It's a good bake.
It's a good bake. It's a good bake. Oh man, watch the Great British Baking Show.
It's a
Jesus.
good bake.
It's a good bake.
Sorry. I think are we good?
I think that does it.
That about wraps it up. Tune in next time for another episode of the Three Dudes Show. Drog will be hosting.
Yes,
sir.
I'm hoping to have another Would You Rather scenario for this one.
Oh,
too.
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
so I'm gonna throw you guys into
yeah.
the fire on that one.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna come up with the worst scenarios I can possibly dream of for next week.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Anyway, it's been another week.
It's been another week.
We'll see you guys next week on another episode of the Three Dude Cast.
Salutations and hail Keezer.
Au revoir.